Dong. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the VR Link, episode 52. My name's GT, and with me this week as co-hosts, we have Salsa for Salsa Ketchup VR.
Hey, everybody.
We got Buck3131, who is... I've got this all written down. He does a variety of mixed reality live streams, and he's part of the VR Souls podcast.
Hello, how are we all doing today?
And this is quite a long one. And we have Caleb VR, who is a guru. He's director of communications at Arvor, Pixel Ripped. And yeah, he's just awesome. How you doing, man?
Doing great. Happy to be here, and happy to see all you awesome guys. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being here. So last week we didn't have a show. It went through some of the news today. Kind of starting to regret it already. A lot happened. A hell of a lot happened. So it'd be pretty cool to dive in. Hope everyone is okay in the chat. Thank you for joining us. Where am I? I'm completely out of sorts. Completely. I just want to say thank you to... No, don't worry about that. Thank you, everyone, all the patrons. Thank you to all the people who support the channel each and every week. I really appreciate it. If you want to jump into our Discord, we've got a community Discord. I really appreciate that. That is over 700 people now, which is absolutely crazy. Yeah, man, I hate hitting everyone. Like, when you're posting a video and, like, you go, everyone, you think 700 people. Is that the right thing to do?
It's your channel, buddy.
Well, yeah, that's what someone else said, you know. Oh, but there you go. Anyway, so we've got
channel, buddy. If I join your channel, please, I want to see your stuff. All right. That's what I'm saying.
People knew what they were getting into when they joined your Discord.
That's right.
I think they did. Before, hold on, I just got to remove this quickly. We had a donation straight away as soon as we started from Midlife Gamers, which means he wants a bit of salsa.
Hang on, donations. Did the rest of us get a cut of that because we're on this episode?
No.
Oh, right. Well, it's lovely seeing you all.
Why didn't I hear that? Hopefully everyone else heard that.
Yeah.
Thank you ever so much.
Seeing GT.
Yeah. Hello, Tasnik, Dark, Eric Hartley. How you doing, man? Alex VR, Midlife, Secrets of. How you doing, guys? Thank you for joining us today. Mr. Chip. Oh, he actually wrote goal. Nice one. German Rifter. How you doing, Daniel? You all good?
Hey, Dan.
Yeah, he's lovely.
Dan the man.
He's
JD.
the nicest guy in VR. I don't care what anyone says. He's the nicest guy out there. I'm amazed he doesn't stream or make videos because I thought he did.
Oh, I thought he did as well.
There's a conspiracy here. He secretly is just this. He's watching everything. He's keeping track. He's gonna just pop out and he's gonna do something great sometime. You know, something great.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
No.
I can't wait. I really want Dan to do stuff.
He's definitely one of the nicest guys on Twitter.
I think it takes a lot of work to sit there and watch everybody else's content, comment, and then always be there for everybody. That takes a lot of time and effort right there. So you know what? I think he's already just keep doing what you're doing, brother. Thank you.
He is amazing. I'll be honest. He is absolutely amazing. He buys everyone's merch. He buys their cups. He's just one of those guys. He's just constantly supporting virtuality. And yeah, same as you, Buck. I actually, when I first met Daniel, I thought, oh man, I'll check out his channel. He's just a supporter, isn't he?
He's just nothing.
He's just one of these.
He's a ghost.
He's just a backbone
when it comes to that.
Well, I got to say real quick, that's one of the reasons we even wanted to make sure that we as a development company included him into the last game was because we see him as a part of the community, even though he's not a content creator per se.
Absolutely.
All the content creators need that juice, and we need friends, and we need people that help us and continue to be a part of that community. And people like that, Daniel and German Rifter and many other people out there that are doing similar things like that. We really appreciate that. We see it and we notice it very much. So
yeah,
when people ask me how do I get in the community, first thing I say is communicate with the community. Jump into it. You get your feet in there and actually start talking to the people. That's the best way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean he's
going to be a part of it
by everyone. Genuinely, everyone just loves Dan. He's wonderful.
Yeah. He is. He's superb. So what Caleb was saying, if you haven't picked up Pixel Ripped 1995, he's in there as a game hero on one of the cards, which is absolutely fantastic.
There's other guy that's in there as a game hero as well. Yeah.
I am. I've never told anyone about it though, just because it's like.
See, from my view, that looked like he was pointing at me, and I was like, "What?" Like this sort of thing.
Yeah, Bucks in it.
In the Zoom window, I was like, "I don't think I am."
Yeah, it's one of those things. It was one of those things, man. Like I said it to my wife, and I was like, I don't think I can tell anyone else because it's. I think you got to be low key about these things. You can't just go, look at me, I'm in a
Until
video
somebody
game.
then goes, "Did you know that Gamertag is actually in?"
Picture of
no,
nine.
Goes, "Here's his
You're-
card."
You're a content creator, which means all you do is go, look at me, like this. That's what we
Well,
do.
that's not the idea of it. That wasn't the idea of how it started. It was meant to be about the games, but I guess you end up sticking your face on things, doesn't it?
To be fair, there's a lot of creative ways that you can add people into things, and we wanted to do it differently, but at the end we weren't able to. So that was the easiest way to get people in there, you know, and we felt that, you know, it got that retro vibe as well to it. Collector cards, you know, something that we always did back in the past. So. You know, it works out. We want to do fun things like that, and we've got more content updates to come in the future. There's going to be more additions. So, you know, if there's people that are in the community that want to be involved, you know, the best thing to do is, if it has to do with our stuff, you reach out to me, reach out to the other developers in the community or that are part of our organization, and we're happy to always talk and help.
Yeah, man. Excellent. Yeah, excellent. Thank you. Who else we got here? Revivalizer, Ham, JD Max, Secrets of. Monkified. I think he thought Buck was Sousa's brother.
He did.
We've got a bit of a Phil and Grant VR going on. Maybe
I'm not sure who to feel sorry for.
Neither am I.
brothers.
To be fair, possibly Buck, possibly me. Do we do a poll on this?
Interesting. We do actually live very close to each other as well.
Yeah, same
is
sort of
strange.
area of the world.
Let me just make sure. I've just covered Reality Check's head there by accident. There we go.
Uh-oh.
Double boomer threat. Ooh.
Double
I-
boom.
Hang on, actually, this is a really good point. Does this mean I am now the oldest person on this podcast?
Yes.
I don't know how old you are, man.
I'm 43.
You know, that's okay.
Sousa, I thought you were 60. I don't know how old Sousa is. I don't know how old any of us are, really. Reality Check hasn't grown since I first ever saw him. He just seems to stay the same.
I am younger than that. I'm younger than that.
I'm gonna
62.
be turning I'm gonna be turning 32, so that
Oh, nice,
God,
man.
you're all
Nice.
children.
You're all children.
I'm an old guy.
I'm only I'm 1 year younger than Buck.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
I'm just going to say the other two now respect your elders throughout this podcast.
Excellent. South Memphis with the $5 donation. Thank you.
I'm going to start totaling all these up and send you an invoice at the end.
You know what? Hey, I gotta say real quick, you're giving me an invite right here to say something cheesy, and everybody already knows this, but that's the best part about the VR and the technology. Once again, there's no age, there's no race, there's no sex. We could just hang out and be together. Okay, I don't really
It's
care.
got a large. Yeah,
I
it
do
does have
care.
a very
I
large.
do care about how you're going to perform in the game that we're playing. You know, if we're being teammates or whatever. Can you catch a disconnect arena? Come on. You know, that's what I care about.
No,
Yeah.
I can't. I'm terrible.
I've honestly played with a 72-year-old man. He used to jump in. I can't remember his name, but he used to jump in all the time. And he was like, "I'm 72. I love this game." And you know what? He was fantastic. You know, for the way that he was able to actually hit the goal all the time. And I love
That's
playing
incredible.
with him too. So yeah, that's probably the oldest that I've actually played with that I know of. But you know, it's possible I've played with other people I just don't know. They didn't tell me. You know, so. I love that
Nice.
part of just kind of experience, you know, who is this in VR? I mean, and if anybody's ever played with somebody like Haskell, you know, she's
Oh, she's incredible.
Yeah. She's
That's
amazing.
just terrifying woman in that
meet her in
game.
person, she's the sweetest lady, and then in VR, she just thrashing everything up. So I love that.
I honestly felt like she was looking after the community in a way I'd never seen. Like
Yeah,
how
no.
I don't know if she's a community manager for them or does anything like that, but damn, she deserves it because like
Oh, yeah.
we was in a room together and there was all these kids. Because one of the things when it first come on, with people were a little bit like, "Oh, it's too full of kids. It's too noisy." Blah blah blah. Me personally, I'm thinking that's awesome. Like you've got kids in virtuality, that is fantastic. Like they're the first gen getting in there, and they're gonna love it and grow with it and stuff, you know. And anyway, we was in there messing around, and she just called them. She went, "Come on in, everyone!" And they all sort of got together in a line. She was going, "Right,
Yeah.
guys, we're gonna help GT learn this stuff," and they just done it. Like they
Yeah,
just
yeah.
listened to everything she said. Like she is a goddess. You know what I mean?
She
I
would
was
be
like,
the mom of Echo Arena for sure. I think it's been almost 3.5 years that we've been playing that game, and every time I used to jump in, I used to see her, you know, there. And when I went to China, her and actually stayed in a room we bunkered together and hung out there doing the esports while she was writing articles and kind of got to be friends. And
She was my introduction to Echo Arena.
Yeah.
She's got that hold on getting people to come together, as well as being very kind. You know, always being focused on.
Oh no,
being
she's
good
an
to each
absolute sweetheart, isn't she? Absolute sweetheart.
It was lovely. I felt like I was in the presence of a real like virtuality celebrity. You know, one of her. Yeah,
Surely that's every day for you, GT, when you look in the mirror.
Yeah, I mean, how many times do you go into VR and they go, "Is that Gamertag VR? Oh my god! Are you, are you the guy with the YouTube?"
I might, Echo was one of them, but I might actually, like, the amount of friends requests I've had on Oculus, I don't know what to do anymore, because when I'm starting to record now, can you make yourself private on Oculus, on your friends list?
Yeah, you can.
Oh yeah.
All right, I might do that. That means that everything I was going to say doesn't really matter. So
he doesn't want to play with
German
you.
Rifter with the €10 donation.
Here we go.
Go! Here we go.
Reality check. You got to actually look at this stream to see what we're doing.
So I can see. I didn't see before. I saw Salsa flying out at one point with some money, but I didn't know.
Flying out.
Yeah, the thank you ones. Okay, yeah. Yes, nice.
We've got an animated version of that as well, which was.
I can't find it.
Yeah. So we have an animated one of that as well. So it's kind of like the thing. So
flying out the screen.
Oh, what's up, Tasnic Gaming? Yeah, no, see, I think I really go. I want to say this right now. I hope all of you guys reach out to me if you want to play some Echo. I love the game so much, but I haven't played very much lately. I don't really want to jump in too much with randoms because I want to make sure I make the best of my time right now. But I would love to play with all of you guys. So anybody who reaches out to me that wants to play Echo, I'm in.
Dude,
I'm down with that.
4 years. I've been playing for almost 4 years. I know how to play the game.
We'll sort it, man, because like people want me to live stream it soon, so we'll get it sorted.
Yeah, for me it's going to be very soon because anybody who doesn't know, I will soon have a new place. I'll be moving home.
Hey, congratulations.
Kicked out is what happened.
Yeah,
hey, congratulations, upgrade.
Leveled up. You leveled up.
I will actually have enough room to be able to play Echo Arena without punching through a wall. Which will be a greatly added bonus.
Which is why he's been asked to move because of that, because he just keeps knocking down walls.
Just keeps waking his parents up as he's
I've broken 2 windows and many dishes playing Echo Arena. It's no joke, man. And you see at least once a week you see somebody breaking their controller or a TV screen on like the Oculus or the Reddit.
I broke one of my index controllers the other day by turning it on.
Oh,
I pressed
you're one of those massively strong men.
That's it. I turned it on, and the whole top came off of the stick, came off of the grip. So I've RMA'd that to go back. So I've only got one at the moment.
All right.
Turned it on and it broke.
Those things you tell people to impress them.
Damn thing.
So is that all you? I got to ask about. You're not sporting the Rifts then? You're just doing the Vives and the.
No, so I actually have an index that will be turning up this week.
Oh, wicked, man!
So.
Cool.
I'm looking forward to that.
That headset is fantastic.
So I started with the PlayStation VR, then got a Vive, and then upgraded to the Vive Pro, which is my daily driver now. I then got myself some index controllers because these things. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen! A blast from the past.
Yeah,
mate, they're going to be in a museum, and people are going to look at them and go, "What the hell is that?"
Since you did mention PlayStation,
at the moment, I'm using one of these and an index controller. But no, PSVR is still a big love of mine. In fact, I've recently just set up all my stuff here with an Elgato so I can now stream my PlayStation stuff properly. And the reason I want to do that is because what's coming out next week.
Nice. Yeah. Reality check. You looking forward to Iron Man VR? I've lost sound.
He's gone.
He's gone. I thought we went. When he went like that and said something.
It's working, I think. So
there we go.
It's working?
Okay. Yeah. It is working, yeah.
Okay.
Weird. Sorry, guys. I'm having some audio issues over here. Too many USBs. But so PlayStation VR. PlayStation VR is what the Iron Man's coming out on?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. And I don't have that.
We haven't got a PlayStation VR.
In Sao Paulo, we had a PlayStation, and it's since the quarantine happened. I was basically, long story short, I came here for a month to visit my son, and then boom, quarantine issued, and I haven't been back since. So we'll see how that works out. We'll see how that works out. But yeah, so I am really excited to see other people playing it and to see the community adopt it, because I know full well that this is not only huge, like Half-Life Alyx was huge, but this is even bigger in that the kids and younger people are going to be playing it. So I'm really excited to see that it's going to bring a lot of people into VR, and I'm sure that I'm going to get to play it eventually, right? So, definitely happy about that one.
The other thing to discuss is like I think PSVR is the cheapest way to get your hands on Star Wars Squadron. If you think about it, if you want to get in VR, like I can't think
Probably.
Well, there must be.
Have a PS4.
You have a PlayStation.
No, even if you haven't got a PS4.
No, I think GT's right actually. Because if you think about it, if you didn't have a PS4, so you buy a PS4, you buy a PSVR, you buy a copy of the game, all of that is going to be less than buying a PC, buying
Not if you have a PC. If you have a PC already, though.
Yeah,
people forget
you
the
have
PC.
a PC, but same. If you have a PlayStation already, right? It's the same thing. So I guess that does make sense.
Yeah, like a pre-owned.
I mean, for somebody who does not have technology, sure. Since you can't do it on the Quest, that makes sense. But
exactly. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people ask if it's coming to the Quest. I don't think the Quest can push this.
I mean, I gotta say one thing though is, I love VR. I play it all the time. I've got pretty good legs. At the same time, I still get queasy pretty easy, and I think that there's a lot of people, as we all know, who just aren't even going to be aware of like this difference of wow, and all of a sudden
just in case somebody got lost in that conversation, because I'm sure somebody did. We've gone on to Star Wars without kind of mentioning it. Just went, Iron Man, PSVR, blah, 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 blah,
hey,
and Star Wars. So we're actually talking about what we was going to talk about now,
and I didn't,
which is Star Wars Squadrons.
And I didn't do my, I didn't do the news thing. I forgot.
No, you didn't.
Who's going to write? Here we go. I'm doing it really early. We are back. See, that's it.
Excellent. So now we have the news thing out of the way, because he needs that. He needs that in his life.
I do. It's a staple. Thank you.
Loved it.
Thank you
And
very
we
much.
have
Paid good money
Star
for that
Wars.
sting, didn't you? That's why you need it. So just use it as much as you can.
I just made it. It was crap. But yeah, so Star Wars. Yeah, I just wanted to actually talk about that. Like, I don't know if anyone actually. People must want. For me, Star Wars is actually at the moment now the biggest VR game we've got coming.
Yeah.
Below that, probably Lone Echo 2 for me personally. I'm really looking forward to that still.
Yep.
But then we've got Sniper Elite, Phantom Covert Ops just come out.
Yeah.
You know,
See, no one's mentoring After the Fall. I think that looks pretty good.
Yeah, it looks amazing, and I've played it as well. But when I talk about like the biggest,
up.
when I talk about the biggest games in VR, I think to myself like, what are the games that are going to attract people to VR? Possibly you haven't got VR. That's what.
That's one of the things. Star Wars. This is one of the best things about Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's first of all, they didn't say about VR straight away.
Right.
No, because every other tweet
flat screen.
online was this needs to have VR because they didn't say it.
But that's the thing. You need to appeal to flat screen gamers separately first.
Yeah.
To then go VR and have a multiplayer that can be successful. If you say
screw 'em, live in the now.
Successful
I just want to completely agree with this. I think that so many VR games out there just can't hold on because you can't have a player base that just sticks with it. So
this is
incredible. This is incredible. Exactly. This is incredible to be able to have an IP that's cross-platform, and that is what's going to keep it alive. And at the same time, because we're going to have people in VR, which is going to be the smaller audience, right? It's going to be a smaller audience in VR, larger in the PC. But who's going to be wanting to play in VR? Everyone.
Exactly.
Everyone's going to be wanting to play
exactly
in VR.
that. That's what happens in VR chat,
and
that's what happens in Rec Room. Like you see people in there, they go. I mean, Rec Room like is on mobile. Do you know what I mean? There is, and they go in there and they must see people sort of move around with their hands and they're gesturing and so. And they just feel like, wow, imagine being in this like game they already love.
Rec Room, VR chat, both of those have the same thing that where people are going, what? How are they?
Yeah,
get in here, get in.
But it's going to be this thing, isn't it? It's going to be PS4, PC, Xbox.
Yeah.
The thing I'm going to be interested to see is playing in VR. Are you going to have an advantage compared to people playing on a flat screen? Because I think you are.
A lot of people have said
yes
so.
And no. Yes and no. I mean, I think that PC is so easy. Yeah, exactly. Your mouse and keyboard you can control somewhat better, but you have more awareness, right, in VR, right? I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, it's like
the tracking. I think definitely. But
sorry, Salsa. When you say tracking, What do you mean by that?
I mean by tracking an enemy. So when you see someone, you can look to them. The weapons are not going to be tracked. They've already said these are the weapons. There is HUD in here. Because when you look over the videos, you'll see them sweeping, and you'll see there's no actual center reticule. There will be a fixed center reticule. And the gunfire, you're going to actually have to manually lead the gunfire.
Yeah. So the thing for me is I grew up playing TIE Fighter, X-Wing versus TIE Fighter on the PC. Now, those games were actually really deep in how you controlled stuff, because you would move stuff like you would say, I want to take energy from the weapons and put it into the engines. I want to do it to the shields. I want it to put it in my rear shields. I want it to put my front shields. And that was the thing
as well.
Exactly. But this is the thing that concerned me when I saw this first announced. I'm like, is this just going to be an arcade thing where they've taken what they did in Battlefront and just make that the game? I'm like, because personally, I don't want that. I want something that's a bit more hardcore, something where you have to think about, strategize, work with your teams, do that sort of thing. I don't want just an arcade shooter that will be filled full of microtransactions so I can have a new paint job on my TIE Fighter.
This is one of the great things of when you go into the deep dive into both of the trailers, the gameplay trailer, and the actual stuff the developers themselves have said. Just for people to get the idea, I know a lot of people went, oh, it's all available in VR. Yes. Now, the first week they started developing on this, they just got the engine up and running. The second week, they started putting VR into it. So from the start, it was developed to be both 2D and VR from the very beginning. And that's really important.
I wonder why. I wonder why they've done it, though. I mean, because that guy put out a tweet.
Cool.
No, I know it's cool.
That's what the dev said.
They've got to say... You know
because
what I mean?
most PC people do not have Origin installed on their PC, and they want you to. That's probably what it is.
Well, it's not. It's they don't have that.
It will need it. I guarantee you, it will need Origin.
No, it won't. It doesn't need Origin.
Okay, we're doing this right now. 20 quid, Salsa. It will want you to have Origin.
20 quid bet. It does not want Origin installed.
Done.
Besides that, I just want to say, to kind of comment on what you guys were talking about, I think that just from the developer get-go, anytime we see a simulation type game coming out from this point forward, we're going to see a VR option, because when teams together come and they have these planning stages, it is now apparent that VR is part of the world, and it is absolutely part of the conversation. Is, do we want to ignore this or do we want to include it? And I highly doubt any AAA studio from this time forward is going to ignore that in a simulation-based game.
No, that's
what
right,
I mean
man.
is obviously car driving. Anytime you're flying, anytime you're in kind of a cockpit simulator, you're going to be having VR as an option.
If Star Wars and EA have just gone into VR like this, other people are going to look at that and go, "Hold on a minute, something must be happening big over there." Because I actually thought we'd peaked with Half-Life. I know Medal of Honor. Thank you, Nat, for mentioning that earlier. Medal of Honor, obviously, that is a big game above and beyond coming out. But when this happened, I was like, this is huge. Like, this is massive. Because this is a franchise outside of games as well. So, you know, a lot of people are going to hear about that. And, it wasn't a video game when I fell in love with Star Wars. It was a movie. So,
Do you remember the days when a movie tie-in was not a good video game?
Have you ever watched the history of the ET cartridge?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Just recently, they dumped them all in the desert, man.
Yeah.
A friend of mine actually has
ruined Atari. It ruined Atari. That's what they say.
Yeah.
It was at the time there was so much that happened in the game industry. That's sort of like it ruined the whole game industry.
yeah, right. Yeah. That's kind of true.
And then it changed. Then they had the other changes. But I have to say on this. 100%. You're not going to have to go down the Origin route. I'm seeing them taking a step back away from it for this in particular, because if they do, that's another load of sign-ups, and then they will lose that cross-play segment of goodwill, I think, from a lot of people.
I'm not convinced.
I'm
mainly because it's EA and I don't trust them.
I don't think they.
I was skeptical. Yeah.
I think they're really worried this time. How to get it right. They can't.
You've only got to look at what happened with
any barrier
Battlefront
they
2.
put up,
That was awful.
any barrier they put up will be a signal they have messed up. That's what I feel that EA and they're feeling on this one is any barrier they put up will be they have messed up because they don't want that to happen in this game.
But currently, man, they literally have like answered my prayers. I didn't think this was going to happen, and it happened.
Yeah.
So at the moment, I like EA. You know, if there's
How dare you?
I don't care.
You disgust me.
I'm going to comment too. Did you guys play Elite Dangerous? Did any of you guys get into that
Yes.
at all?
Yes.
Lot of
I didn't
Elite
really
Dangerous.
get into it, but
And it's another question too. Did any of you guys ever play like the submarine games, or it's not submarine, but the diving games where you're going underwater and like Subnautica or any of that kind of stuff?
yeah, free
Yeah.
diver, trying
Okay.
down. Yeah.
In my opinion, those two types of things, whether you're in a simulation like a cockpit, like a fighter jet, or diving in the ground where you would be normally wearing a mask, I think that those are incredible for VR because the immersion is set not only with the realistic feeling that you would already actually have a mask in there, but yeah, things like Rogue Squadron. I mean, it's not only going to be a fun VR experience, but it's actually going to really immerse the crap out of people. So there's these little things that are going to be very exciting, and it's going to do things that Half-Life Alyx couldn't do. And that game was a horror game. I just finished it. So
Did
that's
you think it was a horror
the most exciting
game?
to me. Oh,
I would say
Really a
some of
horror
it was
Horror
It was a horror game.
It had horror elements. I would agree with
Exciting
that.
bits.
Yeah.
It was just exciting.
Head crabs that they go from
How was Jeff?
great larger head
Yeah,
crabs
all right,
come up
Jeff.
to shielded head crabs to Jeff.
Jeff was
Jeff.
mental.
Jeff is a
brilliant.
horror section.
Jeff
Oh,
is
without
brilliant.
He's a bum.
Jeff is the elephant
Yeah.
man with VR.
We
But
have
it's very
a
smart.
£5 donation from Ham.
Oh,
who
you
can't wait to fire his torpedoes into the Death Star or anything else.
and
Is
everyone
that a
else.
euphemism?
Let's
or
go.
anything else.
One thing I was, from my perspective, I'm quite fortunate. I have a full seated racing rig, which actually has an arm that swings in that has a thing where you can put a HOTAS. So if this thing has HOTAS support,
It has.
which
It does.
it must have.
And
It
it
has.
has HOTAS with PlayStation.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Confirmed.
So if I can sit in my chair with my
it
thing
been
and put that on
confirmed?
and have my HOTAS.
Yeah,
I believe
I've
has
heard
been
it's been
confirmed.
confirmed. Yeah.
Where has it been confirmed? Because I haven't seen that one yet.
So there was so somebody asked PlayStation support and was like, "Can you confirm with me that it will work?"
think
And they're
I
like, "Yes." And they're
retweeted
like,
it.
"Okay." And they're
Okay,
like, "And one more
PlayStation-
time," and then they reworded the question.
Oh, nice.
And on the
'cause I
same
mean, I've
tweet, they
read
said
from the
yes, it
developer.
uses Origin.
Yeah. It's legit. It's legit going to work. I've got a HOTAS sitting
Okay.
right over here in a box next to me, and I haven't used it for a while. But yeah, I mean, if nobody knows what that is, a HOTAS is just a joystick and a thruster, right? It's like it's what you use to control airplanes in video games.
He'll go
and-
get his
I'm
one, yeah.
considering
It's a
getting
couple
one now
$100.
for this game.
Yeah, I've got
This
the
is a
Xbox
HOTAS.
Pro myself. Yeah.
So
Which one is that one? Is that one?
That's
this
the
is the
Logitech.
X52.
That's the
This is the
Logitech one. isn't it?
Logitech X52. This is actually modeled. You played Elite Dangerous. Does
X52 Pro.
that look
Yeah,
familiar?
Yeah. Now you
Oh, it's a
exactly the same.
hardware measuring contest. Like,
What's you got? What's you got? What's you got? What's you
look at
got?
mine. Look at mine.
What's he got? What's he got? What's he got? He
Okay, so
has
this-
got.
This is the thrust, right?
Ooh,
The thrust. But
I feel less of a man now.
Look at his thrust.
Yeah. No.
Look at his. Oh,
Yeah, we got a
Yeah,
little button there.
you got that, and you can.
Okay.
flip
Yeah,
up,
the button is, that's the
flip
best part.
down.
I don't know if you can
God.
back
Which
that.
way are
You
we
get this.
doing with this? I don't know if I can do this. I don't think I can.
Salzy, you can do it,
Can
man.
I?
It's just tech. You can show tech on this in the podcast.
Right, keep all. This is where I
Okay.
keep the.
For
There we
our
go.
audio
Xbox
listeners,
Connect.
we are now
So-
comparing joysticks. Please read into that what you will.
Yes.
So this is the F56
Mine's
Rhino.
just a little bit. No.
X56, yeah.
I've got to be careful. So I've almost. I could destroy things here. I don't want to destroy things. My
Hey, since-
throttle is almost ready to be destroyed.
If he has an accident, he's only down the road. I can go and help him. It's fine.
It is about time. It's about time for that ad break right now. So we're going to do a quick ad. Talking about PlayStation, we do have a PlayStation physical copy for sale for one of our games right now. So if one of you guys know,
Do you know, do that though. Plug
me
that
plug
for
that.
me.
will.
Because.
There we go.
Oh my god. I forgot.
I'll have to do the plugs at the
There you
end.
go.
I think, right?
Oh, there's the other part.
What the hell is
Save it.
that?
Yeah, nice. It's a crazy.
That's
looking
the
one.
thrust part, man.
It's got a dual thrust. It's got
That's
dual
real.
thrust, right?
Yeah,
we were
it's
saying
got dual thrust sections and extra buttons and twisty knobs, and these go 2 ways and lighting and.
Hey, remember at one point in your life, you probably at one point you actually knew what those buttons did, and you were playing. And at one point, I knew what my buttons did, but not anymore.
Oh, I remember going back to Elite Dangerous after like 3 months, and then going, I can't remember what any of this does.
Exactly.
So, Caleb, let's talk about your Pixel Ripped pink special edition from Perk Games, the physical edition.
Yeah, we can briefly go over that. I'm excited about it. Just
tell us about it, man. Just quickly.
Very quickly. I got to meet Mickey from Perp Games a little over a year ago at GDC, and we had a little meeting with him and met the guys. They were great. They do the physical copies of games, so they said, "Hey, let's come together and make a partnership." And yeah, we did. So August 25th is when it's supposed to start shipping out to people, but we have pre-orders right now. We still have some left. So yeah, there's a special edition. It comes with if you haven't seen it, it's Pixel Ripped 1995. And it's the newest, coolest VR. No, it's one of the passion projects that our studios obviously worked on for a long time, and I've been heavily involved with as far as just kind of watching and testing. I didn't make it, I didn't develop it by any means. And anyways, sorry, the physical version is 89. So if you guys saw the 1995.
Oh, sorry, yeah, Pixel Ripped 1989, yeah.
And that's my fault for saying that too. So it's the previous version. We will eventually have a physical of the other one, but that's going to be some other time. So anyways, 89's got the physical, and we've got some special little things that people can get from it. So yeah, the first thing is we're going to have signed postcards in there from the developer herself with some messages on there, and you get 3 postcards, and that's really cool. And that's kind of like our way of saying, like, not only thank you, but here's something that like is actually from the team, right? So I thought that was a really nice thing. Then they've got a pink edition cassette, which you saw, which got a USB on it. And the USB, I've been working here myself, trying to actually create the digital assets for that with my team. So we've got special wallpapers and things, as well as some cool videos that we've put together. And I just got finished. We've got like, a 30-minute plus kind of behind the scenes of the making of it and everything. That's all going to be included on that. So it's going to be a nice little treat for the people that get that. And I think it's 30 euros. So, for you guys, it makes sense. For me, I'd have to translate that.
Not, when I saw that was, I think it was £25 for the, and I was like, that's actually really good value for what it is.
Yeah, I mean, we tried to make it honestly as cheap as possible, and to make it so that we could actually produce it and make it. This is absolutely 100% not a money maker for the studio. This is purely like we want people to have this, and how can we make this happen? So that's what this is. And the special edition is, you don't have to go that. You can just get the normal physical edition, which is obviously going to be less. I think it's just $20 or 20 euros. Actually, I could be wrong. I think that's what it is, though. Check it. And they do ship worldwide. They ship everywhere, all around the world. You just have to submit a ticket to them for them to get back to you. But they ship all around the world for it. And the special edition is purely because we want to give that extra something to the people that care about us and have supported us for so long. So that's
how many of these are you producing?
1,500 of the special editions. And I know that we do have some left right now. We don't have like a lot left, but we still have plenty left right now. Like we wanted to make sure that 1,500 was a good enough number to where we could sell it for a few months, hopefully. Sure. But we don't want it to be lasting for years. And I can tell you right now, it's not going to. So most people are actually buying more than one too, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's awesome, dude. What does that leave you thinking about on the PS5? The fact that you can get an all digital console and a physical media version. Well, which one would you get? And that to me sounds like it is eventually going to phase, and we all knew. Yeah, it would happen.
Well, I think, we do know it's going to phase because we can see that happening in every other medium as it is right now. I think there will be attachments for the physical stuff, especially because people want to have that, and I think that there has to be. I think we all know there has to be a physical means of something, even if in the future, if we don't have, Pixel CDs, if they're USB drives, that have a physical, there has to be some thing, because the internet, as wonderful as it is, doesn't always exist. The cloud is only up when servers are running. So you have to have digital physical copies for stuff to live. And I think that if we want things to live and have that longevity, that's the reason we put them on these physical copies. I mean, the fact is that everything that goes on that disc for us is, it stays the way that it is. And if you don't turn it onto the internet, there's no updates. It is what it is forever. And that's kind of the specialness of it. So
this is really interesting because you're talking, it's about the history of games as well. Because it keeps that stuff alive and able to do it if it's a physical medium. For example, a prime example of this is PT. PT, which was the demo on the PlayStation Store, they took it off. So unless you had that demo on your PlayStation before they took it away, there is no way of you getting that back. And I remember seeing on eBay, people were selling PS4s with the PT demo on it for like thousands of
You'd
pounds.
have to sell your account, though. You'd have to sell your account as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But people were willing to do that. But it just goes to show that that's one other reason physical media does. I'll be honest, I haven't bought anything physical in ages. There's nothing. I don't pre-order physical stuff. Never have done.
And a lot of people don't. I don't expect.
No.
A lot of people don't.
No, it's just me.
I was just going to say, there's a company called Limited Run Games. I only found them out because of Streets of Rage 4.
They're just like Perp. They do very similar.
Yeah, and it's like you're saying, man. So Streets of Rage 4, which I think is absolutely amazing. I love a side-scrolling beat 'em up and stuff. And I've been waiting for that game so long. Played it at Gamescom, met the developer, and that, like, you know, it was quite an odd situation when you're hyped about a game. How often do you get to meet the developer of the game? Hardly ever. So I was a bit like Streets of Rage 4. I mean, the video looks great. The intro looks awesome. But when I met him, I could tell how passionate he was about the series. And I thought this game's going to be amazing. So Limited Run come up. And basically, you get like a Mega Drive box. Looks exactly like an old Mega Drive game. A Mega Drive cartridge. Obviously, there's nothing on the cartridge. It's just a cartridge. You get a booklet. And then, obviously, you get a digital key and stuff. Dude, I wanted that so bad. I was like, oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I wanted that. Just for
That's
that.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, just for that collection. And the same as your thing, man. As soon as I saw it, I was straight in touch with Perp and got one. So I can't wait.
Thank you very much.
I used to be really bad at it. I used to, physical tat that you can get with special editions. I used to be terrible. I've got the Watch Dogs hat and the face mask, which I've actually been using recently.
Nice.
Why not? Why not? So I've got that. I've got an Assassin's Creed statue. I've got all these other things. And I look at it now and it's like, I'm 43. What have I been doing with my life? But this is not owning all of this stuff.
Okay, I real quick, I'll try to. I know I got the Halo, the Halo Master Chief helmet that you could get. Definitely got that special edition. Did the Grand Theft Auto special editions. Did the Prey special editions. I usually do gaming special editions, but that's kind of where I cut. In the Matrix ones, they did all the Matrix special editions with the Neos and stuff, and that's about it. It's about it.
I've never done any.
Salsa,
really.
Salsa, have you done any?
Yeah, I've got
Salsa would.
VR Paradise.
I've got a couple of. No, I've got a couple of different. Oh,
yes.
I just got that, man. VR Paradise.
We're not going to show that.
You got the physical version.
I was a big Destiny fan, so I've got special editions of Destiny and the Division. So I've got a Division watch.
Nice.
So I have the Destiny ones as well, actually.
Yeah, like the Division watch is so cool. It's really heavy. It's all metal.
Yeah. Does it work? It's like you see everything around you, start digitalizing.
No, it only does.
Depends what you can do.
The light up and everything just looks good.
Yeah.
You feel like more of a man when you wear that watch.
Do you not go up to like traffic lights and go, "I'll change that"? Oh, it went green. That was my doing.
So good.
So. Right, let's Solaris, First Contact Entertainment. Who's hyped for that game? Are you looking forward to it?
I am cautiously optimistic.
Okay.
If it can be like other games that are on the side quest, then yeah, maybe it could be really good, or it will fall flat on its face. One of the two.
That's
okay.
good.
The issue I have
right there.
That's what my feeling on this is. It looks really good in the trailers. It looks like they're going down the right road, I think, here. In that it looks full pace and everything else like that. It looks like an FPS that isn't sort of like compromised. It looks like one that's just going to go, right, I'm going to just go in, shoot, fire, run around, do everything.
Do you know what? I played Firewall the other day for the new map and stuff. And I'll tell you what, not visually it's fine. It's actually not aging that well for me. Because there's
this is my point.
It's one round and you're back to a lobby and it's like, dude, this feels like the excitement, because don't get me wrong, when you're playing a match of that and you're actually in that moment and stuff.
You
It's
wanted
really
that
intense.
Division watch to be able to go, ready,
I just
go.
wanted like rounds. You know what I mean? Like just literally
round
like,
2, round 3, round 4.
Yeah,
best
whatever.
best out of 10 or something.
Yeah,
The
there was-
flow,
Instead of kicking you out every
of
single
the
time.
gameplay, the flow of the entire system in Firewall is too slow. It going from finishing a round into a lobby, into a round, into a lobby. Don't get me wrong, the game, when it's working, because it used to not for quite a long while, is great. And when you're in there with a bunch of people who know what they're doing, and that's a key thing for Firewatch, because it is not a run and gun, do your own thing, lone wolf. It's you work together as a team.
Mhm.
And you don't get that a lot of the time if you're hooking up with randoms, which is fair enough. But the flow of going from a game to lobby to a game is very slow and time consuming within Firewall. This is my concern with Solaris. My other concern with Solaris is it's a multiplayer game in VR. And the problem is if it doesn't hook that player base and keep it, everyone will play it for 2 weeks and then no one will touch it again.
I can't remember if it's got cross-platform play.
I bet you it doesn't.
It's on Quest, PC VR, and PSVR.
They would, I mean,
and they've also confirmed it's going to support the aim controller on PSVR as well. They've confirmed that.
Makes perfect sense considering. I mean, to be honest, it's the only reason to really own an aim controller on PlayStation.
I think that when you develop a game that's multiplayer, you have to have cross-platform. Otherwise, I think as you just said, I mean, if we can sit there and say we know that it's dead in the water that quickly as we do, I think a developer usually, if it's got a team, they usually can think about those things. So I would hope that they've got that planned out right there, because otherwise, that I do agree. If it's not instantly, just it's not going to be possible. Do you guys remember that game? Actually, what is it called now? The dodgeball type game. I'm missing it. Where you shot the dodgeballs at each other. Remember that one?
Oh, Blast Arena?
It was no, but it wasn't Blast Arena. It was
dodgeballs.
I know what you mean.
It's quite an old one, isn't it?
It's kind of. It had a huge player base at first. Everybody played it for like a month or two, and then it kind of grew, and then it completely died. Like it got big, and then it died. And I was playing it at first.
There you go.
Smash Ball.
There you
Arena,
go.
everyone's saying.
It's like people are saying in chat. So get to the chopper.
Yeah, Smash Ball. That's right. Smash Ball.
Spark is a prime
game.
example. Spark is great.
Oh yeah. Spark had a smaller life though. To me, Spark had even smaller life. It was even a shorter.
In Spark.
You
When
guys,
was the last time you tried that?
You've all got to try and talk at one at a time.
Last time I tried Spark.
Yeah,
but
a couple of months ago.
Spark is 1v1. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. See, that's the difference with Smash Ball was like team versus team. So it really, you really needed to have players in that one.
Nice. What about Onward? Any of you guys play Onward? Because I tried to play it the other day and I couldn't even reload. So I give up straight away.
So reload. Every gun reloads differently, and you got to push the A button on some of them, and you got to hold it and pull it out. And some of them you push it and it just falls out.
I literally tried. Like I've played every other shooter like that, and I could not reload. I was like, what the hell? Everything I can think of that any game has ever done before is not working. So
you've got to know how each weapon thinks, and there are some maps that are really dark.
Dude,
I can't laugh at you because I've had that happen to me. I've had it happen where I joined the game and I was like, nope.
Surely most guns are release the clip. There's a button to release the clip, pull the clip out.
Usually.
This is all really fascinating.
I don't know what gun you were using. But I can tell you, I've played a lot of realistic military shooters lately. I've played a game called Escape from Tarkov, which makes me learn all the ammo and the guns. So now when I play these games like Onward, I'm like, I know exactly what these guns are now, and actually I have some more familiarity with them. But that certainly helps a lot. And I think that like all these games, you got to get in there with somebody who knows what they're doing to really.
Yeah, I want to. I've got to get back in it because it's coming to the Quest now as well. So
which is such a big deal.
Being ex-military, this is a wonderful thing to behold with watching you guys go, I don't know what any of this is. So
that's awesome.
Nice.
We don't have the training for this, man. We don't have this training. But with Onward being on the Quest, it's big. One of the first things I used to do in Onward when the game first came out, I would just literally run out into the game with an assault rifle. I would take a smoke grenade. I would throw the smoke grenade, and I would run in, and I would just lay down in the middle of it. Just lay down in the middle of smoke grenade, just lay there. People come walking by and you stand up and you shoot them and then you lay back down. So like with the Quest, you have all that freedom and you can just feign death and it's going to be so much fun. So
yeah,
a lot of people don't realize to begin with that Onward is not your run and gun. It's a proper military sim shooter. It's not Unreal Tournament in VR. It's not.
The AI is not so great, but the game you'll die instantly if you just start walking.
Oh yeah.
There was plenty of servers though going. Like it was easy to find a game. It wasn't. That's one thing I
Onward
found
and Pavlov
about
both. Always
yeah,
shooting off.
Onward, Pavlov, and Contractors because that's pretty big because they've just done the mod maps.
So personally, I really want to try Contractors. I bought it even on Steam, and I've been wanting to play it. So what do you guys think? If you're going to invest time, Contractors, Pavlov, Onward, or Contractors, Pavlov, or Onward, which one is the best time waster, or do I have to jump into all of them to have the best fun?
I think
it depends what you want.
Yeah, that's tough.
I want fun with friends.
The problem. They can all be time sinks. What's going to be the easiest for you to find someone that you know has it?
Well, I'm saying like, regardless of the person I'm playing with, what do you guys think is the most fun when you're playing with your friends? Like
Pavlov.
Pavlov.
Yeah.
I can say so far, I agree. I've had the most fun playing Pavlov with my friends because of the different levels, because of the different kind of levels that I was able to play.
Yep.
Onward, I had a lot of fun playing with, Vivian and some other people into the VR Spies back in the day, but that was based off the people, not the game. Based off the game, it was Pavlov. So
that's a good point, actually.
Contractors is more of a very visually polished Pavlov, I think is the way to describe it more than anything else.
But why doesn't it win? Yeah.
It does well because Pavlov's been around for a lot longer.
Yeah.
And people are still hooked into it, and it still has a huge community of people building their own game types because you can't do that in Contractors. They're building their own game types. So you got lots of TTT and that sort of and they're building a lot more maps. I believe it's also much easier to mod for than Contractors is.
I was just going to say Contractors, has got the mod scene now, which is pretty cool.
Roy Schwartz said
you can jump. You can jump in Contractors, so surely that makes it a winner.
Yeah. You can jump and slide.
I'm sorry, you can jump in any VR game because you have knees. Okay,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I know what you mean, though. I actually really like Contractors. I find Contractors very just middle of everything. I don't, you know what I mean? At the moment, I don't know. I struggle with Contractors because he does nothing wrong. It actually does a lot of things right. But yeah, I have more fun in Pavlov because I know I can go on Pavlov and someone will go to me, hey dude, do you want to do that level from Call of Duty Zombies? You're like, yeah, man, let's do that. And, or do you want to revisit GoldenEye from the N64?
Oh, of course.
It's stuff like that. Like
go to the facility.
Yeah, facility, exactly. Yeah, GoldenEye facility. Complex. Mate, we got to go. We got to go on Pavlov.
The best way I can describe Contractors is it's fine. And that's the only thing you can really say about it. There's nothing wrong with it at all. It's fine. But Pavlov has that extra bit that all the community have thrown into it.
Yeah,
and Contractors might get that now that it has that mod support.
Yeah, nice.
Good here. Appreciate the feedback, definitely.
What about Wraith the Oblivion, which is coming from Fast Travel Games? Did you check that out? Has anyone watched the gameplay trailer of that? The horror game?
I have not. Sell it to me, GT. Tell me about this.
I can't tell you much about it because I don't know much about it. But I was just asking you seeing the gameplay.
Yeah, no.
Tell us all about it, chat. What do you guys know?
Well, we can't tell you gameplay because the gameplay trailer hasn't been released yet. There's only
that makes sense.
Trailer.
That makes sense.
Early,
I know the logo. I know the logo really well.
There's early development There's early development footage.
I've been seeing.
Yeah,
because that's worth trusting.
Always. That guy, a good logo guy.
I've been burnt so many times by games company going, this is what it's going to be.
Yeah, but it's
and then you look at it, it's like, what the? I don't care. Hey, I've been burnt by it.
that is a tricky thing. It's a tricky thing making a trailer for something, but it's best if you have a really good product that you only have to then tease people as opposed to trying to oversell something that sucks. I can say that because I actually do get to make the trailers for our company, and luckily I don't have to work too hard because I just have to kind of not show as much of the coolness that they make, and that's all I have to do. Just don't show all the coolness, and then it's just little bits of it.
Well,
dude, who made? Go on, sorry.
Wraith the Oblivion Afterlife. So it's based on card games basically, and there's a long backlog of those.
Like
so
Bridge.
Fast Travel. Playing Bridge. God, man, you are impossible. Oh, sometimes I hate you, Buck. But no, for me, it's an interesting one from the upload stuff. It was one where I was sort of like, it looks like it's going to scare the living daylights out of me.
I need that.
It's just that. It's just the intro of it. I'm not a big horror fan, but this one got me to the core, and it's right from the start where you are already dead.
Yeah.
It's a horror game.
It's a horror game.
I'm out.
I'll play it. I love psychological thrillers. They get me. They work. And I like it.
It's a thing where the immediate thing that the intro starts with is, this is a mansion that you're in that even the dead are terrified of. That something happened there, and it was just so vicious and so cruel that nobody got out alive, including you. That's the start of it.
That sounds
amazing. Why don't people play things like water bears anymore?
So,
but that's the contrast. You've got some like fast travel games who created something like the Curious Pets
Tale
type.
of the Stolen Pets.
Yeah. Where it's all heartwarming and touching, and they're very good at getting that communication between people and digging into your heartstrings and all this lot. So them doing a horror where you're already a ghostly ghoul, that interests me.
I actually think also the voice talents they hire for their games are normally fantastic. Like Apex Construct's got one of the most like memorable voices. Father's voice is incredible. I can't remember what that guy's name is, but if I was making a VR game, I would look that guy up straight away. I thought it was amazing. Talking about the trailer, talking about trailers, Caleb. Who done the Pixel Rift original trailer? Because it's one of the best VR trailers I ever saw.
The 1989 one, right?
Yeah, with the kid on the skateboard and all that.
Okay, so that's a mixture of two trailers there. So the kid, the whole acting with the kid and everything, that would have all been with like Anna and the school project, and they did all that like in like Europe, I think, like that. So and they did two different versions of it. So they had like they had two commercials basically, and they're both pretty cool. So yeah, the whole kid thing that was done there at the NFTS, I believe. And then they kind of took that part of it and then they kind of transformed it with the new trailer, and they made with the new studio Arvory and Ricardo Justice, the CEO. I know he had something to do with it too. He did the voiceover where he did, come play now. He's the voice of everything. So basically he did that. And I know they put a cut together, and then a woman named Julia, who works also in Sao Paulo, she is an artist, and she kind of put the trailer together in After Effects and everything. So they did that first one, which was awesome. And I really liked it a lot. Yeah, it's got like the cool little outro sequence put together where they come out of the game and everything. The music was made by a guy named Terrence Dunn. Terrence Dunn is a great composer. Unfortunately, he didn't get to compose the music for the second game, but we still did use the same theme. So we got the rights for that song because he created the song specifically for the game, right? So it's made for that, but he still owns it. And so we worked with everybody. Like everybody that was involved in the first one was still semi-involved in the second one. If their art was used in that way. So, and then we transformed the song and we re-edited it. And if you did get to see, we put out an album, and then a second album, and then now a jazz album. So we've got like all these different versions of it.
It's all on Spotify as well.
We haven't put out a video showing this stuff off yet, but literally all the sounds in the game are made with the engines that are created for the game systems. So like we used a Game Boy engine and a Sega engine and all these things that can only play the sounds that are possible on those systems. And so when you're playing the games, we have like each song has its own version. It's got like a Sega version and a Game Boy version, and so like everyone, and it uses different instruments. So the guys that worked on this Moon Sailor was a company.
I mean there's something like if you got the the Genesis or Mega Drive, that has a very distinct sound system to it as well.
He's gone again.
Lost Mike.
You've gone again.
Mic check. Reality is mic check.
Are you back?
Can anyone read lips?
Yeah. No.
Oh.
No,
and it's back. And it's back.
Yeah, you
now,
are.
right?
Yeah.
Yep. It just does this weird little thing. So at least we only have to worry about 15 seconds going down. So
do you do a lot of the audio for Pixel Rift?
I don't do the audio for it, not at all.
That's a good thing, judging by your microphone. So
no, I don't. I'm when it comes to my role, I'm communications. So I do marketing and I do a lot of the social type stuff. I run the accounts. If you guys see the Twitter and that kind of fun stuff, I get to play around with all that, and I get to engage with the team directly. So I'm constantly talking directly with them. And when it comes to the reviews and just getting stuff pushed, I'm concentrated in that area. I love development. I love Unity, and I still do plan to continue to work on games in the future. But my role was not on that with this game at all. I'm more of a fan, you know, just like you guys, and I'm just trying to. I kind of luckily have an insight. I get to see what they're doing, and I want people to know. I want to kind of just tell people because it's really cool,
Very
kind of
cool.
the way that it's made and the things that people are doing. They did a talk with Big, which is like a big Brazilian conference the other day on the internet. They had a live talk, and on that one they showed literally kind of how the music worked, and we're going to put out a video in the future with that as well. But yeah, stuff like that. I mean, people don't understand how much, I guess. Not that it matters. We don't expect people to, but there's so much thought and intricacies there. I mean, even when like you're playing the dragon, and when the dragon comes out of the TV, when it goes back in the TV, the sounds actually change for, you know, the real world sounds as opposed to the game sounds. And we try to do all those little things to make the game subtly better. And I really do think that that's part of the reason it gets the good reviews and that it gets the you know, the notoriety is because there's all these little things that make it feel better, you know,
Wasn't
bigger.
it in the top 10 PSVR most downloaded games?
Yeah, well, I don't know about downloads. I can't say numbers, but it was listed in the top 10 best PSVR games.
That's
and when you go to your PlayStation and type in, you know, PSVR all this week, we've been up on the list. It actually put us as number 2 on their little list thing there, which is really cool.
I saw that tweet actually. I think it was Anna that tweeted that out, wasn't it?
So we had and the kind of just a fun thing, the way that stuff like that works is, you know, we had a guy in a company who literally jumped on his PlayStation, he saw it and he was like, oh, and he took a picture and he throws it in the Slack and we all see it, and then we start posting his picture, and I'm like, I'm gonna post it on the official, and they're like, we can't help it, we're gonna post it early, and it's like, no way. So but it's great stuff like that. We can't help but share when you get good things like that. Kidding. You know, we want people to know, but really it's anytime you see success like that in the industry, it's good for all of us that are making games. We want to do new and creative things, not just rehash the same old idea over and over and over again.
Don't you think that's one of the best things about VR though at the moment? Is that it's untrodden ground.
It's untapped. It's untapped.
You know?
Well, it's great from a creative standpoint of being able to create almost anything. It also, you know, as you should know, it's terrifying because you don't have these staples to know exactly what works. And from an investor standpoint, it's difficult to get money. It's difficult to get funding for projects like this because we're just now at the point to where there's enough user base to where putting out a game that's successful actually can create an income. I mean, there's very few games out there that have sold over 1 million, let alone over 2 million copies. You know, there's less than 10 games, I think, overall that have even been in those high, you know, numbers. So, you know, and certainly at right now, I think most studios' goals are to be in the long game because nobody's currently making stuff just to get rich. That doesn't exist. You know, it doesn't happen right now.
Yeah, sow the seeds now. Get your name out there. Get known as. That's what I mean. Like you could have been an indie developer is now in VR like a superstar developer because it's quite a small universe. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and the serious ones, the people that are actually doing what they say and working on it. I mean, I can say myself, I wanted to make several games and started to make several games and didn't finish them. It happened. It's very easy to have intentions and not let them work out and work for you. I was very fortunate enough to where I got to work with the company and still get to be involved in projects, and that helps me, you know, continually be, I guess, in the community and aware of what's going on. But otherwise, yeah, you either got to be working on a project yourself or somehow doing something if you want to actually pursue any kind of a career in that world.
Yeah,
probably the most exciting thing about it for the development community, because I'm not a dev at all, but it's not been around long enough for someone to say, oh, you can't do that. That's not you can do whatever you want because no one's proved that it can't be done yet, so you can just keep going and pushing those barriers.
I think the quality of what we're receiving is definitely going up as well. That bar is just going up and up and up.
But I think there's some big titles that have come out that have said, oh no, now you have to be at that quality. Otherwise you're not going to get noticed.
Physics of Boneworks. Do you know what I mean? Half-Life Alyx, for example, is massive. Do you know what I mean?
I didn't like Boneworks.
I love
Everyone else loves it, and I couldn't stand it.
No, I don't think they do. I don't think everyone else does love it.
There's parts of Boneworks which I just think are broken.
I don't feel like Boneworks is a game to me. I was gonna say, I don't feel like it's a game. It's not a game. To me, it's not a game. It's a tech demo.
It's
demo. That's exactly what I would say.
It's a great tech demo.
I play games to have fun. I did not find Boneworks fun.
I find shooting people in slow motion and chopping their heads off or whatever in slow motion loads of fun.
Can you just clarify that you mean in VR? Then?
Absolutely. Right,
okay,
listen,
good,
we need to talk about The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. Has everyone played it here?
Yes.
I have.
Yes.
Excellent.
Very small amount. Very small amount. Like 20 minutes.
Unbelievable.
But yes.
Are you guys looking forward to the Meat Grinder update?
Of course, we wouldn't be.
Yes. Isn't it already out?
You hold it. It's a holding meat grinder.
It's like a zombie horde mode, basically. But it's also currently discounted on PlayStation.
That could be a great option, couldn't it? You shove the meat grinder in the zombie's face and just...
It's probably there, dude. It's probably there.
I mean, make your own sausages in
or an electric meat grinder that you hold and you just run at them, like, you know.
Ham's very excited because we've mentioned meat, rightly so. So, The Walking Dead Saints Sinners is currently discounted on PSN Store, as far as I know.
How does it play on the PlayStation?
Awesome. Like,
yeah,
I couldn't believe. Like, put it this way, yeah. And people might be like, "What are you saying?" Because of like, but certain games have been really good on the PlayStation. You still are from launch. Are still some of the best quality games. Wipeout, Resident Evil. You know, there's some really high quality games that, like, more recent games just haven't touched. And I was a bit like, if I would have played Saints and Sinners, I would have been a little bit worried about Squadrons, a little bit, because it looks so amazing and to be in VR. But Saints and Sinners to me is really a really good high quality game. They've definitely put in more fog. Do you know what I mean? You've definitely got that Silent Hill more fog going on. But yeah, dude, like to me, they captured the essence of the whole game, and with the Move controllers, which
how does the movement work?
It's so just like Skyrim kind of thing, you know, hold the left
button. I have also not played on the PlayStation, so
okay. Yeah, so hold the left button to move. I think they've got to hold the right button.
Okay.
Oh no, hold X on the left to walk backwards. Don't get me wrong, if you haven't got moves, it's like, what? Like, what the hell are you talking about?
It sounds crazy, but once you get used to it,
it
just...
Yeah, I struggled. I must admit, I haven't played my PlayStation for a while, and I did.
I remember.
Did you guys finish the game at all?
Yeah, I finished it twice.
No, not yet.
How many hours is that one? Do you think about?
8 to 10?
8 hours. Huh?
The story. That's without.
I haven't finished it. I haven't been able to finish it yet.
8 if you know what you're doing. I think the first one could
like
be 8 hours.
12 hours to beat Half-Life, so it takes me a little while apparently.
I would say, yeah, I think Buck's right. I think 12 hours is a good ballpark figure for that game.
Because one of the things Saints and Sinners doesn't do well is explain the day-night system. It takes you a little while to figure out what that actually means. So basically, you can go to a place and then you can go home, but then that's one day done. And then the next you have to go to sleep and then you wake up and then you go to the next one. So when I first started playing, I thought, I can go here and then I go here. It's like, no. You go one, you go home, you start again.
You've got to make the most of that trip, haven't you?
Yeah, which is a good mechanic and it works really well, but the game does not explain that to you when you start.
Right, just kind of learn it. I gotcha.
And that can actually lengthen the game out as well if you are particularly going, I want to get as much resource as possible to get that game, or I need to find this one resource while this horde of zombies is chasing me to get this weapon for tomorrow.
The whole game is based on a risk-reward system of do you risk taking that extra day to go and do something to get that reward? That's the idea behind it.
Yeah, pretty much. Tantrum has said, is it me, or do I notice that people are fine with both Rift S and PSVR? It kind of worries him. He assumed the Rift S is much better. Will I have a good advanced experience with Rift S? It's all about your hardware, really. It's all about what PC you've got.
Is it though? Because I would say it's all about content.
I don't know. See, I've played all PSVR games pretty much, and I don't really now, as PCVR has a lot of new stuff. I think as the headset goes in technology, I think the Rift S is better because you've got the inside-out tracking. It's super comfy. I think the visuals and the clarity in it are fantastic. I do think it's a superior headset in that sense.
At a technological level, absolutely.
But I think the PC is what will push the graphical side of what you're going to see and be amazed by it. Like Lone Echo now is, I don't know how old that game is. It's quite old, I think, in terms of PCVR games. But technically, you can't see that on PSVR.
It's one of the most amazing visual.
I only played Lone Echo from start to finish about 3 months ago, and I was still like, this. If this came out now, I would be impressed.
Yeah,
I had a game-ending bug that didn't allow me to finish it, so I never got to go through the tunnel that gets you to the girl at the very end. I got into the tunnel and it took me out to space, and I just floated in space and died. But
nice,
which is terrifying. It's terrifying, by the way.
I love Lone Echo. That was just the thing for me as well with a lot of games is its story. And if I get hooked by the story, it doesn't matter what the game looks, I'm sold. And I was completely hooked by the story to the point in the end where I'm like, we're going to do this. We're going to be okay. Like, there's someone trying to rescue it. And I was genuinely worried about it. Yeah.
What I loved about the game as well, when it came to involvement, if you're standing up doing it, you found yourself going to all these sort of strange, odd positions like you was in space. So you'd be grabbing something while going like this, while going.
But the most interesting thing for me,
it'd be great like that.
With Lone Echo is not once did I get motion sick, and considering it's a 0G game, I was very surprised. Well, apparently they've done something within the graphics that you can see subconsciously, like a grid, but you cannot see it. This is what I've been told by I know it's a weird thing to do, and apparently that keeps you feeling like you're okay.
It's interesting to say that because what was the game I played this week? It's not out. It's like an early access thing, and you fly around. What was it?
Is that the one where you got the guns that you can shoot at people and stuff? I've seen the trailers for
Airborne. Airborne's brilliant.
That
looks
amazing.
really good fun.
Super fast.
It's crazy good.
Yeah. I've been playing Airborne since it was in like early alpha. And the first versions of Airborne, that was really hard to deal with. That was actually quite hard to deal with. It is on Steam now.
Is it? I don't think
it's not for sale yet.
This week. This week is going out, isn't it?
I don't know. Honestly, don't know. I can check
week.
it out. Airborne.
Yeah. I think it's this week it's going out into
early access.
Yeah.
Cool.
There he is.
So it is really interesting, really fast. Very, very simple premise. But was quite addicting. It's just speed, gunning, shooting, flying, and but
it's an exhilarating game. It's a really exhilarating game. As I said in the video, like literally hurtling at full speed because you can get it's like a sonic boom boost. You slam your fist forward and you go flying forward, and then to turn round and know you're hurtling that way, but facing that way, shooting these things, chasing you,
coming after you.
Oh, it's amazing!
And your guns can change out from like just long shoot guns to shotgun style fire guns.
Yeah, it was awesome.
While your movement is kind of arcing down towards the ground, which is probably a couple of 100 miles away.
Yeah.
But then you can end up sliding across the ground with the things chasing you to shooting up a few hundred meters at a few hundred miles an hour within a split second of each other. And just avoid things that way and then boom.
Motion sickness wise?
No, that's why I wanted to talk about it because you said about that. I'm not like impervious to motion sickness. I do get a feeling of motion sometimes. I've never really felt ill from it, I think, but this game there was nothing like that, nothing at all. And I was thinking this is probably one of the fastest VR games that's got any amount of movement possible. And I felt absolutely fine. So when you said that, that's the game that sprung to my mind.
Yeah, he's worked very hard on it. It's still very disorientating in other ways, because you do turn around so quickly.
Hello, Deej, mate. How are you doing, guys? So let's flip over to a full screen trailer. Oh, no. What I wanted to do, talk about In Death quickly. One last thing. In Death Unchained. I'm really looking forward to this game. I've played it on PSVR. It's really good. It's procedurally generated. I think it's
Death? Yes.
In Death, yeah, like you go to heaven or something, purgatory. It's coming to the Quest on the 23rd, and I think it's going to be priced at $30. And the reason I brought it up is it's just playing in the background now. So
one of the best bow mechanics in any VR game.
Yeah, the only problem I still have a problem with inside-out tracking when you have bow mechanics.
See, I have outside-in tracking, so I'm a bit spoiled. So.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I played In Death from the Oculus CV1.
Mm-hmm.
So bow mechanics, I got so used to bow mechanics on a CV1 where it's outside, you know, constellation tracking. I'm sort of like, how good have they got the tracking on that? Because I'm still sort of like, it's still one of the failings of inside out tracking. The bow doesn't feel as good on inside outside tracking. So where that goes to the Quest, I want to see. I'll be interested to see how they pull it off.
See, I thought Apex Legends. I thought Apex Construct played really well on the Quest. It's one of those games. I probably don't push it enough because I played it so much on PSVR that even though a lot of new people come along and go, "Oh yeah, the Quest," I'm like, kind of been there like a lot. Do you know what I mean? So it's hard to go back to. I want to say hello to a couple more people. We've got Deej, how you doing? You've got Gold. Dan Kitty also said what you said, Buck. He said Best Buy Mechanics. Void Cat, how you doing? Hard to get. Great Tantrum. I think Iron Man, I think it's the third or the fourth. I'm not quite sure, but we are going to talk about Iron Man anyway. But next up, we're going to look at a trailer from a game. It's coming from Sony Interactive Entertainment, Quasar Dynamics, and it's called Do Not Open. It's set to release next year in 2021. So we're just going to flip over to the full trailer section of the VR link and have a look at it. It even says it there, presenter. Let's have a look. Okay, sound. Nice. This looks awesome.
Oh yeah, this one.
I'm just not a horror fan in VR.
This looks so good.
It works so well, but that's probably
That's why I'm not a fan of it in VR.
Do not open. I think this looks really cool. I think it looks so cool. 2021.
Para vosotros, jugadores.
Did you hear the Spanish guy at the end? I love that. I played it earlier and he goes, I don't know what he says at the end. It's just Spanish stuff. But yeah, it's proper great. I love it.
Just Spanish stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but I can't wait for that. I think that I'm hoping, obviously, a lot of things are captured on the social screen on PSVR, so they tend to look like, wow, amazing on the social screen. In the headset, they cannot kind of look as good. But I'm looking forward to that one.
I think my mic's working now. Is that right?
Yeah, you're all good, man.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah.
Don't apologise.
We're gonna do this. We're gonna have fun.
Apologise.
I muted him anyway. It's fine.
Did you hear about Beat Saber being removed from arcades today?
Of course.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Dude.
Like, what?
I mean, I gotta say, it came at a good time in the sense that most arcades are not really working right now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there is
the
that.
Corona's going on, but it's a huge issue. I tell you, this is a big deal. A lot of people worldwide know that game. They know the IP. They want to play it. When they go to an arcade, they expect to play it. So this is a big deal. Some people say that it's music licensing. That's not quite true. Most of the arcades, I got to say real quick, most of the arcades didn't use any of the music packs. They only were ever playing the ones that were created initially with the game, and that's all they were even allowed to play in the first place. You know, so that's all we were doing at the arcades, and I know that. I was working at them. So, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely want to hear what you guys think about them.
But this is the thing as well. It's like when you want to show off VR to someone, what's the first game you put them in? It's generally Beat Saber, because it's a very simple. You do this.
In the case of Beat Saber as well, it's Beat Saber actually with arcades. They have dedicated arcade machines.
Yeah.
Of course.
They have. And they're out.
Granted, I mean, some of those arcade machines were not necessarily made with their approval, but some of them were.
True.
Oh yeah.
So,
does that mean I could get one for cheap if they're going to get rid of them in the arcades?
I
probably
really
not.
don't know. I mean, apparently this means temporarily. You know, they said that they're going to be off until the 31st or something, or maybe they'll come back later in July. So they're going to have to relicense the deals, and obviously a large part of this has to do with Beat Saber being bought out, or being Beat Games being taken up with Oculus. And that's kind of a big deal. And yeah, I kind of used to. I didn't work with the guys, but I used to talk to the team a little bit. They're based in Prague, and I think they're staying in Prague, so the teams are still separated, but clearly there's something going on, and I don't know enough to say. So I'm it's interesting to see where it's going. I think it's a big problem, though. I do not like personally how it was released and instantly taken away from, all these arcade owners are kind of building their business. And unfortunately for them, Beat Saber is kind of a part and has to do with a little bit of their livelihood. And, for a company to obviously take a payday from a big company, if it hurts all these little people who are all individually trying to push VR, obviously that doesn't make anybody happy. So I'm not trying to say anybody's a bad guy by any means. I just hope that there's some conversations being had and that gets fixed.
It's business, dude. That's what it's business, dude.
Right. Because I mean, the big thing is if this big company wants to buy this game and these IPs and you want people to love it, well, people have to have access to that thing that they love, right? So otherwise, how's it going to continue to live? Why did you buy this big IP if you don't want to actually let people play it? So
we do want people to play it. We just want to charge them more money to play it.
Right, there is an answer here. I'm sure that they've got a solution and they figured it out. So
the thing is,
we'll just see what it is.
As you just said, man, like they've literally gone through the really hard times. It's a bit of a double whammy, isn't it? Really, do you know? When they reopen, they're like
for
the game
owners,
that pulls people in, and also like I've seen some of the videos in China and stuff. Like they have real cool looking setups of Beat Saber. Like you could recognize Beat Saber without seeing the game by the setup. The big red and blue lights and all that stuff. Yeah, it is going. But talking about buying and not buying, Facebook has bought Ready at Dawn. And they already have got Sanzaru, and we just said about Beat Games. Like, what are we thinking about?
I was looking at this company too. They keep buying all the companies I'm looking at. I'm like, I like this company. They're just buying them.
It's a smart move on their point to do it. Because if they want
to curate content,
exactly.
If you want exclusives,
if you want exclusives and you want to curate stuff and you have your own store that you want to keep people in, that's how you do it. You buy a studio that is known to create decent titles again and again and again, and then you pump your money into them and you grow them in the way they want to grow. The best thing Facebook can do with a lot of these companies, though, is go, okay, we own you now, but we're going to leave you alone and let you do what you do. That's what I want. I don't want them to come in and go, right, now you have to add this and you have to add this.
So I don't think a company like that would do that, though. I think they would definitely go, leave us.
Sorry, you don't think Facebook would say, we're going to tell you what to do?
So here's my opinion on what I know so far. Maybe isn't a lot, but I do know that Facebook, they're growing and learning a lot. And I personally don't think that they have the capacity to jump in and tell these studios what to do. These studios have the answers that Facebook's looking for a lot of times.
They're not a new studio.
Yeah, exactly. Buck, I think that you're right. I think these studios are going to be, for the most part, left alone. Sure, they're going to have more rules. There's going to be some implementations, as always happens when there's a changeover of power. Yeah. But I think the studios are going to make the content. And Oculus's main goal, Facebook's main goal, is to sell headsets. That's their goal. So they need these companies pumping out the software, as you said. One thing I want to say too, because we kind of earlier, we just briefly mentioned it. They launched Phantom, the covert ops, recently, and I played that last night just for maybe an hour. And what I kept thinking was, wow, okay, not only are they trying to make games that are appealing for everybody on the Quest and Rift, but they're trying to make this is a workout simulator. You're paddling this thing the whole time, and you're trying to shoot. So that, this is not this isn't a mistake. They're absolutely trying to go, hey, look, our headsets they can give you workouts. They can get so they're trying to push these concepts together and merge them for marketing, and I can see how it can help sell headsets. But I've always thought they don't really push the whole how much physical movement you do in VR, because when I bought my Vive originally, I lost 2 stone in about 6 months just by playing VR games, because I'm a chunky monkey and don't really go to the gym like GT or anything like that, and just eat lots.
I don't go to the gym anymore, by the way. Yeah, just thank you for bringing that up, though.
It's all right, mate.
Oh, that's
how's your protein
point of the minute.
Boring.
That's a sore point.
I mean, if you're not using the powder for the protein shakes, can you not just lift those like they're weights?
I could do if I was weird. I tend to make protein waffles and protein pancakes, but
they look delicious actually. I've seen your pictures of those.
They're cool, man. And it's so easy.
And I kind of need GT to make me breakfast, but that could be taken another way.
You can just make it yourself.
No. No, these things will taste better if you made them for me. So
I have. Ham says I'm losing muscle tissue as we speak. I genuinely think like the amount of reps I have to do to feel like I've done anything is insane. So
it was funny. Do you remember when we were all playing Rec Room together with Sprint Runner? I jokingly said, "So GT's going to get fat now that he can't go to the gym."
You hope? No, you hoped. You wanted
You wanted me to hope. Which you actually had the word hope.
I did.
I hope
it'd just be amazing. He's going to end up like the Cartman of VR, where he can't go to the gym.
Oh, it's awful, man. Because the problem is, if someone gyms a lot and they know about it, you end up still eating the same. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You eat like you're still working out, and that makes it.
Yeah.
Difficult.
No, that's a real thing. Well, if you
join us, GT. Join us.
No.
Never. No. It's one of those things, you know. If you have gone from being highly active and just burning calories off like nobody's business, and then you have like medical condition or something like that that holds you back from doing that.
This sounds like a story.
And you still eat that amount.
This
is where you go to.
Are you telling me if I continue to eat a lot and don't do any exercise, I'm going to get bigger? Because I don't like that.
Yeah,
I don't like this idea.
I know
it's a very poor idea. It's bad.
Also, ketchup. Just stop. Just stop.
This is what happens. Nope. No,
I think if I don't look at the scale, I don't gain weight. It's how it works for me. I think
the new salsa ketchup diet, where all you eat is salsa and ketchup, and don't go to the gym.
Jesus,
I pretty much only already eat chips and salsa, so yeah, chips and salsa is where it's at, man.
That's a lot.
No chips, just salsa. Isn't it?
Oh, jump by the jar, Jesus!
It's just got a jar of salsa and
the hot
Heinz ketchup.
It instantly turns it into a painful scenario. It's weird. It's weird.
But anyway, yeah. So talking about Ready at Dawn, are we all good? I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of people say like PSVR has got the best exclusives. I still think it has currently, but it's slowly. You know, like Oculus are coming back, dude. They've got some amazing games.
They had, what was it? The robot one that they had in or
Astrobot.
What was the Astrobot? No, Astrobot was PlayStation. The one that Oculus had was
Stormlands.
Stormland. I'm sorry. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, Stormland.
Yeah,
but Stormland was not great.
It's not right. I mean,
it looks
great.
To me, it seems like
it's fine.
It's not finished. I think
it is a bit.
They worked on it for so long. It's just that they had such big goals that everything had to be kind of hollow a little bit. Not to judge too much, because I mean it was great. It was good.
I think the concept it could almost have gone down the route of basically the Destiny of the VR world.
Yeah, it wanted to be Destiny.
That would have been really great in so many levels.
Well, and not to jump everywhere, but there's the one that happened right before that did not go so well. The shooting one, the spy one, the D.
Defector.
Terrible.
Defector's great.
Yeah.
What is up with everyone?
See, I like some of Defector, but people hated the ending of Defector.
It's awesome. You get to drive a car
hated
out of a plane.
Again, I only played this again. I only played Defector literally like 3 months ago, and finished the whole thing. It's fun set pieces. It's fun set pieces.
It had one fun set piece,
but the ending was just like
shush now, sir.
What? Like, the ending completely threw me, and I was like,
"Which one's his one though?"
I'm sorry, I'm on the hater list for that. I don't.
He's gone dark.
I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of Defector, so you can put me on the dark list too.
I think he's got one of the best shotguns in VR.
Yeah, I don't remember using a shotgun.
No.
They literally go flying through.
It's interesting you're saying like, exclusives. Well, let's be honest. Half-Life Alyx is a Steam exclusive. That's probably one of the best games there is.
It probably is one of the best VR games.
Well, we know it's one of the best sellers for VR. It brought a lot of people into the VR ecosystem, and we could prove that based off the amount of sales that came after it. So, I think that and from a business and marketing standpoint, I am trying to pay attention to those numbers. My company's trying to pay attention to all that stuff. You know, you want to know how many headsets and how many of each kind and all that kind of stuff before you make anything, and who your audience is and what you're going for. And I think that these exclusives are helping with that. I mean, overall, like most people, I don't like exclusives because, hey, if I don't have a PlayStation, I want to still be able to play Iron Man, but I can't, you know. And but at the end of the day, I think we all need to be smart enough to understand that to make a business decision, to be a developer and to make a game, you have to have money. And sometimes you cannot have a business decision without having exclusives. And as much as that sucks for certain player bases, it makes sense from a business standpoint. 2 + 2 does equal 4. And when you do give somebody an exclusive, you do get people coming into that ecosystem, which thus does give them an excuse to then fund your bills. So all those things have to be thought about. And if we love games as much as we say we love games, at the end of the day, we want them to be made and created. So I don't support exclusives all the time, but I understand that they exist.
The other thing that exclusives do though is they do create competition. And competition is good for everyone, because that means people try and push things more and try and create better things. It's like, oh, they just did that, we're going to try and beat it. So it is in our benefit as well that there is exclusives. Obviously, it doesn't help if you don't own every one of the platforms. So
I'm still curious, actually, with Half-Life Alyx, just because of Valve being Valve and Half-Life being what it has been in the past as a separate entity, not just particular Alyx, but Half-Life as a game, or Half-Life 2 as well, that it has been on other systems. That even though Half-Life 2 was locked into Steam, it had to be in Steam, and now you can play it on like a PlayStation that isn't Steam. Will that happen with the PS5 and be able to be playable as a PSVR title on PS5?
I don't know.
But we could know soon.
Yeah.
Well, as far as I know, Iron Man, from what I've read on Upload, was created with PC VR in mind. And then, obviously, they put it forward and Sony were like, we'll have that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, but is it? I don't know if it's a timed exclusive, because we're starting to see that as well, aren't we? Trickle both ways, where
it's never been mentioned that it's a time exclusive.
It never really is, though. Is it?
No,
I don't know.
There's a lot that are.
They don't want the conversation to be about the timed exclusive.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I don't really search
it
out either, but.
I mean, I say so my company right now, we have the Line VR. If you guys got to check that out, it's on Oculus Quest only. It's an exclusive for Oculus Quest. They helped us.
Yeah, I
helped us port the game.
Line.
Right. Yeah. So, but that game was originally created for PC. We made that game on PC, and it works on PC. It works and it looks great on PC, right? But we had to put it on Quest because that was the best way for us to get an outlet for getting a release. And we still will release it later on PC. It will be on Steam. But it's just going to take time, and obviously that development cost is coming from our end, as opposed to Oculus helping us, for getting it out there with the hand tracking release. So, things like that.
And you said that.
Yeah, and
I don't know the Quest.
The game was not originally. The game wasn't originally even with hand tracking. We started the project a year before, and then a year later, we got to the point where we could actually add the hand tracking to it. So it's just kind of, the technology is always changing as the time's changing, right? So once it gets to that point, you can actually make it.
What do you guys? I know you haven't. So you've never tried hand tracking, then, Buck?
No, I have. I have tried hand tracking on a Quest.
Cool. And what do you think about it? And where do you see it going? Do you know what I mean? Hand tracking. Like, what do you think about it?
I'm still not convinced yet, because it depends on what it is that you want to use it for and what games you want to play. But what it will do, I think, is it will create new game types and experiences that we haven't even thought of yet. That's my main thing about it. Because at the moment, you're not going to play a shooter using hand tracking because it can't see when you're looking at it what you're doing, unless it's like this, that sort of thing. But what it is going to do is someone somewhere is going to go, oh, hang on a minute, we could do this. And these are the things that are going to surprise us. And that's what's the most exciting thing about VR and the whole games industry, is when people come up with these new things that no one else has thought of, and suddenly it's like, you can use your hands to do this. And that's what I think is going to happen.
I still like the idea of a mix between other physical controls and hand tracking. So
you mentioned this before, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a pilot game called Tinkerer Pilot, where you can put in 3D models of whatever you like and map them to where you have the objects, the controllers in your actual room. And then you map the hand controlling over the top. So you've got a physical object that you go and hold that is your actual controllers for where you need fine control. But then you can then reach across into the cockpit and go, flip this switch, flip that switch. And stuff like that. An FPS where you have, like the Pro Tubes and things like that, a VR gun, and then you go, I need to reload. There's my hand tracking. Clip. Dun, dun, dun. That.
The other thing that concerns me regarding hand tracking is you've got no feedback.
That's exactly what Ham just said. Yeah, you've got no
haptic
feedback or anything.
But he's a very smart man.
One thing I got to... Oh, yeah, go ahead.
If you've got a physical object in the world that actually has presence, like the aim controller representing the gun or your gun stock thing, then you have something there physically where you touch. Anyway, it's the same trick in Lone Echo.
I'm not disagreeing with that, but for example, I don't have a med pack in my room, and if I reach forward to pick up a med pack, it's not there.
What about you could use a loaf of bread though?
Exactly. This is my point. Is you're going to have lots of different stuff. So you're saying, oh, if you're going to buy this game, you've also got to buy all these physical items that you need to dot around your play space. So
what are you talking about, Sal? What are you talking about?
Well, this happens with VR all the time. How many peripherals have you bought since you got into VR anyway?
I don't need to have this question. Thank you.
Zero.
Yeah, I mean, I like hand tracking. I think there's a definite level of immersion, extra immersion, but it also kind of breaks sometimes as well. Like you're saying, there is that thing where because you expect the touch, but I think it still adds something, you know.
See, I got to say something. The first VR app I ever developed was a hand tracking app, Mazer Quest, where you used your hands to basically play with puzzles that were in the real world, and you had to use an Xbox controller to actually move in the world. It wasn't the best control. I was brand new and silly, but you had to use an Xbox controller because that's all they had at the time. There was no touch controllers, so you would walk through the maze with the Xbox controller. You would stop, and then you'd pick your hands up and you'd play with the puzzle. Once you complete the puzzle, you'd pick up the controller again and keep moving on your way. And that's kind of how you had to go through my app, and it was fun and it was new.
That's cool.
But hand tracking at the time, this was 2014, 2015. We had the Leap Motions back then. So I feel like this hand tracking thing has almost like, we've got a new wave. We had VR people that were all hardcore talking about this a couple years ago, and we were all talking about these same questions. And now like, oh, it's back again. Oh, look at this new thing. Well, no. It's actually not as good as it was. Leap Motion was better tracking. It was more finesse. We had better control over it. So this Oculus Quest hand tracking is not as good as what we had years ago, and we've already gone through a lot of these conversations. I feel like so
this
it's
is
like,
one.
Yeah, that's exactly, and had the little 3D printed piece that you could put onto it.
The thing is, it's not like fashion. Fashion does the same thing, doesn't it? It sort of goes round, and you think, oh, I remember that. I remember the whatever, you know, and like
it's weird because in this respect, we're doing something better because it's integrated into the headset, which is better. But the tracking itself is a little worse because it wasn't created specifically for that in the first place. It doesn't have the IR tracking. It's using cameras.
Retrofitted.
It's very good though. But like if anybody ever played Blocks, where you could literally create blocks and move the blocks around, that was a fantastic app. It was amazing. Probably one of the more immersive and one of the more cooler things you could do in VR that still doesn't exist today for people to do. So I guess what I really want to say is I think that there's two kinds of things you guys are talking about. Salsa's mentioning like having physical objects that use hand tracking, which is one world. And then there's the, using just hand tracking by itself, which has the whole purpose of feeling freedom and getting anybody and everybody involved. And in that respect, your hands need to be hands. They don't need to be other things. They don't need to be guns. They don't need to be any of that stuff, which I will tell you, Buck, I did play Space Pirate Trainer with just my hands doing the Leap Motion. And yeah, I was able to not be successful, but I played it. It worked.
Okay.
But it doesn't work well. So you are right, though. If you can't see you properly,
well,
it's not
I'm just thinking of the visual occlusion of where it is and where the camera's looking. It's
for me, the way that Arvery did the line when if you got to play the line on the Quest where you're just literally moving your hand to spin some things and press some buttons and do some stuff, boom, it worked. So anytime you're using your hands as hands, I think it works really, really well. And as you said, Salsa too, is if you're in a cockpit and you're reaching up and you're hitting levers and things like that, yes. I mean, it doesn't make sense to have a bunch of physical levers there if I can sit there and do
exactly.
And to finish it up, to finish my little point, there's no physical feedback, right? No. But I'll tell you, when you develop it properly, if you develop it in the animations and the sounds, that is feedback. So it works. So if you do good enough animations, if you have good enough sounds, it will work. It's not perfect. It's different, but it works. It makes you feel like you're clicking something.
So I think I'm still, the only thing I remember proper like hand tracking that I've used that hasn't been the Quest with years ago, which is like Steel Battalion on the Kinect. where you could reach up and pull things, and no.
I remember the
It was
controllers
so
for
hit and
that.
miss though.
Remember
wasn't it?
that?
Like more
It
hit
was.
and miss than.
It was
Yeah.
it was terrible.
Just quickly, someone's asking about FNAF. Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted, which is the trailer running in the background now. It is coming to Oculus Quest July 16th. I haven't seen a price though as yet. A lot of hype for this game because
So
a lot
much
of people.
hype.
A lot of people ask why, and the reason is because a lot of big YouTubers made a lot of bloody videos about it back in the day, and it wasn't necessarily VR either. It was both. So that's the reason, and I'm sure everyone will be checking it out. So I actually only played Five Nights at Freddy's once or twice, and it's quite intense. To be fair,
They stress me out. He stressed me out.
It's an intense experience.
Not doing it. Never will.
Yeah, these ones stress me out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it again, man, to be fair, because it's been such a long time since I played it. Going back to Iron Man again, people are asking, it comes out July 3rd. It's $40. Han brought up a good point about over here. So basically, it's £40 on the digital store. But you can go and buy it physically, I think. No, on the digital store, is it £40?
$34.99.
$34.99, but you can get it for $29.99. Like I think on Amazon though, I think it might be $24.99. I'm not sure how much the physical version is.
They are also selling a pack that comes with 2 Move controllers.
Yeah, so I was wondering if anyone is actually going
to. Which is actually a really good deal as well.
It's already in the stores. Everybody's taking pictures of it. They're like, I can see it.
I saw that on Reddit.
See it.
Yeah. So what is it? Let's have a look. Ryan Payton, I think his name is. When he spoke to Upload VR, he said he was hesitant to talk about playtime. Which everyone was asking because everyone thinks it's on the rails and stuff, and it's not. Honestly, I've played it. It's all free movement and stuff, but it's a sandbox game. Yeah, if you fly too far to the left, you're going to hit an invisible wall. It's not like you can just fly anywhere. You can't go underwater. I tried all that stuff, man. You can't do any of that.
You can't go into space. Just leave the atmosphere.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Well, you know, the wrong suit, you'd freeze up, wouldn't you?
Yes. So what he said was, based on playtest data, the campaign length varies between 8 to 10 hours. But they've also seen it last much longer as well. So that's
then again, people always put a monetary value to play time. And I don't do that. It's about how much I enjoy the game rather than how much the only reason people do it is it's something you can physically measure. That's the only reason. But you can physically measure time. You can physically measure money. You cannot physically measure enjoyment.
I don't want developers putting really shitty puzzles in games just so I can get stuck for hours not knowing where to go. Don't do that to me. I get lost on myself in a good game. Don't try to confuse me, please.
Phantom Covert Ops is that exactly. Do you know what I mean?
It's
like
the same
3
as
hours, 3.5 hours.
you can spend a lot of money on something, and it has replayability like nobody's business. So we have a time sink game that has cost a lot. In the long run, it's going to be amazing value for money, but people don't see that first of all.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, man. Just in the background now, he's playing Until You Fall, which I fully recommend. I think it's a great game. Some people don't. Yeah. Some people. This game seems to be a bit Marmite in the VR community.
Really?
Yeah, some people don't.
I love
it. Marmite, really?
Marmite.
That was a good one. That's a good one. Yeah.
Vegemite.
I've never tried Vegemite.
It's the thing that gets me.
I've had Vegemite.
Is it the same as Marmite? It's yeast, is it? It's
no, it's different. It's different.
No, it's different.
Okay.
It's difficult.
The thing you always hear where people go, "Oh, I'm like Marmite. People who love me or hate me." Have you ever met one of those people that you actually like? Because as far as I'm concerned, everybody says, "Oh, I'm like Marmite." Everyone just hates them.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I wouldn't want to like someone who says that about themselves. You know what I mean? Sounds boring. But yeah, Until You Fall is hitting PSVR and Quest this fall. So hopefully, yeah, not too long.
It's a great game.
It is a really good game.
It's a gorgeous looking game. It's beautiful. The color palette they use throughout the levels is absolutely stunning.
And the music.
Audio in it is amazing.
Yeah.
The music,
the physicality with the feeling of how they gain weight in weapons as well.
Oh yeah,
is really good. It's one of the best in class for making sure that when you swing a weapon, you know that it is a length and has weight behind it.
Nice. And also,
that play
it's not easy.
Off of each other.
Yeah,
it's not an easy game.
No,
and it wears you. It proper wears you out.
Oh yeah.
And then when you think you've got to that point, oh, I've beaten that boss, they're going to come in and go, you know that boss that you had so much trouble with? Here's 2 of them, and you're going to make sure that then feels like your normal enemy from here on out. And you have to step up to that plate.
Asgard's Wrath did that a little bit. A little bit of that.
They did correct. Yeah, they back him off a little bit, so he's not the same as the boss guy, but he has the same moves and mechanics and things like that.
We have some questions, guys. We have some questions from Mr. Chip. If you only had the Quest, can you buy something like Phantom Ops on the PC and then just play via virtual desktop, or is it better just to buy on the Quest?
Well, it's linked.
It's cross-buy.
It's cross-buy.
It's cross-buy. So if you buy it on Rift or Quest, you can play it.
And they have cloud save.
I love cloud save.
I didn't know that. That's good. But
Cloud
yeah, like
save's
they just
amazing.
said, Link. So yeah, if you got Link,
yeah,
if you got a graphics card,
I
you can
played
link it.
earlier on Quest, so I have yet to try it on PC, but I'll be able to plug my Oculus Link cable straight into headset, and away I go again.
But you wouldn't have to do that if it's cross-buy.
Yeah.
If it's cross-buy, you can just download it onto your Quest.
Right,
yeah,
he's talking about like, if you want to
the
experience
graphics are better on the PC.
No,
with the Link.
That's not the question. Yeah, but like basically, when I done my live stream with the whole game, I done the first half on the Quest till it died, and then I literally slammed on the PC version and carried on the live stream. It was exactly.
I understood what you meant, GT.
That's cool. They, Mr. Chip.
Well, you guys both meant something, and you both meant different things, and you guys are both right. That's the reality of what just happened.
That's what matters. And then below that,
the reality of exactly what has happened.
I was here. I saw, man.
Yeah. I
think that was the Mr. Chip question. He actually put question, which is pretty cool. Is Resident Evil coming to PC VR? Is there a mod a la Alien Isolation? Not that I've heard of. So
I would not hold your breath.
Totally Mad Studios, the guys behind Project Cars 3, announced the release date of August 28th for Xbox One, PS4, PC, and support for PC VR. So yeah. The hits keep coming. That's another one. I'm really excited for that one. I can't wait for that.
I don't know.
Spit it out.
That was eloquent.
Say something. Don't say a lot, but nothing.
That was very eloquent.
It's just this arcade notion of it. It could be really great and it could be really good fun. But at the same time, I'm sort of like a little bit more invested on the sim side than I am towards the arcade side. And it might be more arcadey than I might enjoy.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, I personally can't wait for that. And another one that's not far away.
It looks more like Need for Speed style driving going on and being pushed here more than Project Cars style. So it's even GT Sport is simcade style, and this looks way more arcadey.
See, I'd say Project Cars is simcade. I don't think Project Cars is.
Yeah, Project Cars is simcade, although
that's why I don't think it's Need for Speed. Need for Speed has always been just quite arcade fun. For me.
Need for Speed is one step away from Burnout.
So. Yeah.
Just a couple of mods. Change the bumpers. We're off.
Yeah, Need for Speed and the new Project Cars looks like it actually sits between Need for Speed and Burnout in places.
Cornerstone says, what do you think about the amount of PSVR games that are move only recently? The new Star Wars game is a game I will actually be able to buy and play for PSVR. He's not paying £100 for new moves. One, they're not £100. I think they're about £80. I'm not saying there's any better.
Go and buy the Iron Man pack. That comes with 2 moves. It's like £80. You get the game and 2 move controllers, and they're the new ones.
You want to do as well is check out old PS3 bundles. A lot of people will just have them sitting in there second hand and not know what they are. I found that a lot of times. I sort of researched before I started telling people.
Why does somebody think that Star Wars would be move controllers?
I don't know.
I don't think they said that.
I think he's on about Vader Immortal.
Oh, okay.
Not Squadrons. Yeah, I think he's Yeah, not on about Squadrons.
The weird thing is, okay.
It should use DualShock. We've had a couple of games. I think Saints and Sinners one of them, where it is only supported with the moves, which I found quite strange. Because I seem to remember that there was a couple of things, if you was going to be on the PSVR platform, that the game had to work on PS4 OG and it had to support DualShock. That was what originally that was, and all of a sudden it's like people have gone, oh, forget about that. Don't worry about it. But that's what I seem to remember.
But that's the point of VR.
It depends on. Yeah, well, PlayStation themselves is the most difficult company to develop for by far.
Yeah.
From a development company standpoint, they are the most difficult to go through the Q&A, and they have the most rules. So yeah, I think that they change the rules quite often, and then once they change those rules, then of course they have to get out new development kits to all the people, and it's just it's a pain in the butt. So I think that's changed over time, and their hardware for PS5 hasn't gone out there to anybody yet. So nobody has that at this moment. I mean, I can say that much.
But the thing is, in VR, you want to be using motion controls. You want to be doing that. I mean, you know, you can play Firewall with a DualShock 4. Who does that?
I never know one person, but yeah.
I mean, it would make you. I mean, the less immersive you get with it, the more disconnected you get with controllers, the more sick you get potentially, and all that. So,
but I never really found it an issue with like Resident Evil 7 because you got the head aiming and stuff. I kind of just forgot about the DualShock while I was in there, and then like if you do something like PlayStation VR World, the DualShock becomes pretty cool because you can see it in VR. So you're like, oh wow, and then like Astrobot, for example, it turned into an instrument. It turned into part of the game.
Astrobot did it perfectly in that respect.
Yeah, that was really smart. They turned something that maybe some people saw as a negative into a positive, which was pretty cool. The game you're looking at now being advertised by Naysay, which is a really cool YouTuber who does a lot of Beat Saber stuff.
Oh, Nacy.
Oh, is it? Oh, is it? Yeah, that's right.
No, Nacy. She's lovely.
She is lovely. He's Shooty Skies at Overdrive. Checked it out last week on the Oculus Quest. It'll be available on the Oculus Store for the Quest and Rift on July 2nd for $10. I really enjoyed myself playing this one. I thought it was good fun. Another quite physical game though.
This is a mixed reality one as well, isn't it?
It is mixed reality.
Cool. Yeah. The price kind of concerns me a little bit at $10. I know some of these games like the 30s, the 40s, the 10s. I mean,
I finished it. I finished it on stream. It was like an hour and a half. It's like 5 levels of varying difficulty though. So I
did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Right, so it's worth $10 then.
I had a great time.
So it's like the bullet hell type game. I mean, like we had. Did you guys ever see the game that we were working on?
No.
Type game like. Okay, well, we've got a bullet hell game actually we're working on. It's our next release is a bullet hell style game, so it's always interesting to me. But this is
exclusive. I need that as a sound effect.
Yeah. Exclusive. We've shown some things out there. The thing is, anybody who's seen our previous Yuki videos, the new version is completely different. They're actually creating characters and everything, so it's getting a huge good makeover. But no, I like this kind of stuff. So if you like that, it's certainly cool to hear that. Do you think that there's or do you think there's a big space for stuff like this in the community? Because I mean, I don't see a lot of games quite like this. And the one thing I don't like about this is I don't know, I'm a little bit oversaturated with the blocky art.
Have you Blast of the Universe? Have you played Blast of the Universe?
I've played that one. That's good.
It's been mentioned in the chat as well, man, by Mike Kelly. That was like this game before it came out. Do you know what I mean? And it had a really cool, like, it always had a bit of a narrative, didn't it? Where it was like an arcade guy who'd gone crazy into the world. And he become like the boss of the game, didn't he? He just become like the ultimate power in it. And that was really cool. I think there's a difference between the common wave shooter and these games. There's a different level of immersion when playing this particular game and a game like Lost Universe. Is the fact it's almost like a hole in the wall. Again, you're dodging things, you're moving around, you know what I mean? And then you had the power-ups where you got either risk for reward, a bit like what Buck said earlier, where you can choose to either have a shield or an extra gun. You know, it was pretty cool in that way.
For me, it's like for a lot of these games, this is purely selfish on my part, is I just want live integration on all of these sorts of things because as you said, I do a lot of mixed reality videos rather than just straight through the headset. And the reason I do it is, one, I'm lucky enough I've got enough space behind me to do it. And two, I think mixed reality gives the viewer a much better representation and feel of what it's like to be in that world than just seeing 100%. It in a headset. So, I mean, that one in particular does have live support. If anyone watching who doesn't know, Live is the software that we use that incorporates the mixed reality side of things. So it basically puts a virtual camera in the game world and then films you, and you can appear to be in that game world.
It's one of the best ways to show virtual reality.
It's why I do it.
And
It
it uses an OVR, Open VR source that was actually created like a while ago by somebody else, which was awesome. But yeah, it's community stuff.
Yeah, one of the most impressive ones recently was the Eye of the Temple that I did the other week. I think you were there, weren't you, GT, watching that one?
Yeah, really good, man. Yeah.
So
that's really good.
Yeah, the way that worked in mixed reality, I was really pleased with how that video came out, and that one actually was one of the first games for a long while that makes you use your entire play space. So I am physically walking around the whole play space to play this, and you can see it on camera, and it looks really good.
See, I don't think I've ever to do that game.
You need for that particular game, you need a minimum of 2 meters by 2 meters.
I've got that, but it's also having somewhere to have the camera far enough away.
And that's the thing, because of my video, you look, there are sections where I am getting cut off because the field of view on the camera has had to be cropped in because of where my green screen and everything. And I made that statement as I started streaming, going, just so you know, guys, my camera isn't going to hang this, but I'm pretty.
When you're in frame, it looked amazing, though. It just looked like because you're standing there and you step off onto these round blocks as they're going, and you see you stepping backwards across the thing with the
and
thing
I'm physically
moving, and but it just framed it so well, and it made it look like an actual physical thing. Which is really
the other thing with that particular game, I genuinely lost my balance playing it. And I think people are watching it, and I was literally like, whoa, arms out all of a sudden. And it's like, I'm just standing on the floor of my lounge, but I'm so immersed in this.
Yeah, it really reminded me of, like, you know, those game shows, I don't know, Crystal Maze or Nightmare or something. Yeah. It was brilliant to watch that. It was brilliant to watch that.
I was thinking about this because it's like, why has Nightmare not come back and used this wireless virtual reality tech to do this? So you could have
Nightmare where you actually have someone who is no longer blind, because obviously in Nightmare the player was blind because they didn't have the virtual reality tech back then.
But you could do that now. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, you are right. So Chris Richardson said, what channel is the speaker on? I'm assuming he's on about you, Buck, because you were chatting at the time. I've never seen these videos and there are no name tags on your screen. You're absolutely right. I used to add name tags and I don't. So what I can do from this day forth on the podcast, I will add name tags. It makes complete sense. You're absolutely right. The only thing I can do is add. You've gone again.
I've got a name tag.
There we go. He's back. I will add these guys' YouTube channels to the video description at the end of it and pin them in the top comment on the video.
Me and Salty got name tags, just not Buck. Just not. Well, no, you know, it's there. I can see it. It's just really small.
It does. It says Buck 313.
3131.
But he does a lot of mixed reality, and I think it's really cool. And
we can all do some blatant self-promotion at the end of the podcast. It's fine.
What about the tower tag?
I'm waiting for that part. Come on, man.
Tower tag is amazing. That's another great mixed reality one.
Tower tag that's the one game I have to play in.
That's really good as well.
Into this. I still need to jump into this. I will when I move house.
I can't hear what
I will when I move house, because I'll have the space to do it. So
sorry.
2 weeks away.
Right, Caleb, what did you say? You went tower tag.
Sorry.
So tower tag is the one thing I guess I saw when I was in Japan. It's the one game that was kind of their big flagship. Every Sega store has that was their main multiplayer thing. Like we had Beat Saber in America, well, theirs was tower tag. So that was, and if you were outside, like the big screens out there would be showing products, and all of a sudden you'd be seeing people playing tower tag, and then all of a sudden you go back to the products. So that whole country, it's a game that I think I would assume came from that area as far as development. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's where it was. That's where I saw it, you know, a while over a year ago.
It's a big esport in the over there.
It was huge there, and I played it for the first time, and sitting behind it was fun. It reminded me of Space Pirate Trainer, but you know, with obviously the tower tag game, but similar mechanics and gun and stuff. That's all I can really say. And we waited in line to play that, you know. And it's just
I love the fact you actually hide behind the tower.
Was that the one over in Shinjuku? Or was
every Sega VR store, which they've got like hundreds of them, everyone I went into had it.
Okay.
No. And I went
into I didn't see it in that one, because they had the Star VR headsets in one
the
place.
Star VR is like where you sit down and you like do like the scary thing, and they had the Star VR headsets for like the scary. They had a little doll that would come to life and like kill you, and you wore Star VR for that. I did do that.
Jesus.
Okay, they also had.
Building myself. I said I'm seriously considering building myself an actual tower, just that I can put up. Playing it.
It's actually dodge behind the thing and hold it.
That would be kind of cool.
Right.
Would you need extra lighthouses to be able to track you?
No, because I got lighthouses in each corner. So I got one up there and one over there. If as long as I paint the tower green, it'll be fine.
I just fear you'd be like an inch off in reality, and you would just slam your head.
Yes. The other thing to bear in mind is this is my lounge that we're in, right? So my TV is over there, which means I'm going to smash my tower into my television.
Nice, dude, nice. The video I'm playing in the background now is called Virtual Sonic. This guy is basically, have you seen this, dude? It looks absolutely amazing.
They've been doing Sonic games kind of since the beginning, but this is the best looking realistic Sonic version I've seen so
I
far.
wanted to see what they come up with this as well. So.
Is this
they're
a
not using the IP
your hands
legitimately, right?
Move your hands to run thing?
Yeah. Well, there was one like that from Sony. But this guy looks like he's up the level again, kind of thing. This is a virtual experience where you become the iconic hedgehog, traversing original zones, defeating enemies, collecting rings, and of course using the terrain to your advantage to achieve high speeds. The project's goal is to push boundaries of what sorts of experiences are capable in virtual reality, showcasing the potential of the medium as it pertains to high-speed action games. In his research, he has discovered that it's not necessarily motion itself that gives players motion sickness, but lack of expectation of how that motion is going to behave. For example, a roller coaster VR experience is completely out of the player's control. They have no say in what they do and what things are going to happen to them. Similarly, if a VR motion system moves a player in a way they don't expect, it can cause disorientation. As such, so long as the player feels in control of themselves at all times, motion sickness should cease to be a hindrance to the player. This is going to be compatible with SteamVR headsets, HTC Vive, Vive Cosmos, Valve Index, Oculus Rift, Oculus Rift S, Oculus Quest, but only through the Link, Windows Mixed Reality, and Pico Neo 2. I am hyped to try this, even if it's just a one-level demo, because if you see... If you're a fan of Sonic, you can see the stuff he's doing. You know what I mean?
It looks like he's got the connection between the body and the motion, right?
Yeah, it just looks so awesome. Like
Sonic Vector.
It's like an oversized glove, so you're like this giant.
Look at the nose. I love his nose. You can see his nose and stuff.
So we're looking at the left right now.
That is an old trick actually with VR. It's like where you had. What's the Ubisoft one? The flying.
The bird one. Yeah, I don't know.
Eagle Flight.
Eagle
Flight. Yeah, where you actually have the eagle's nose, the beak there.
Yeah, it gives you a center point of reference and stop people getting motion sick.
It also bothers me too. Crosses my eyes sometimes.
If you can turn it off, good. If you can't, shame.
Look at that.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like it, and I hate it. You know, like when you're even putting the cigarette in your mouth, or the cigar in your mouth when you're playing like the can't remember that
Blood
one.
and Truth.
Yeah, Blood and Truth. Or the PlayStation VR Worlds in the first demo.
Yeah, that's the one you'll be on as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
It won't be either of those.
Expect You to Die. I'm talking about Expect You to Die. That game.
That's such a good game.
Great game.
Oh, I Expect You to Die. Yeah, that's cool. I forgot about how amazing that
So somebody the other day put on like, oh, this game has the best intro sequence and the best out. It's like,
I saw that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, when I used to test that game back before it came out with the Fishbowl people, and when I first was testing it, they had this crazy intro, and I was like, oh. And then when the game came out, they actually didn't have the same like one, and then later they put it back. It was kind of weird. Maybe I'm wrong with that, but I remember like they took it away for a while and it came back. But yes, it's like we're watching a movie, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was like that by itself was an experience. It's an experience by itself.
Yeah, sure.
When I streamed, I Expect You to Die on the PlayStation when I first got it, and I did not stream the opening because I didn't want to spoil it for anyone.
Well, good for you.
I was like, I don't want people to see this. I want them to experience it. It was like,
yeah, I just think
it's the same as well when you do the Batman thing. When you first get instead of just putting a hat on or whatever.
Oh, when you suit up.
Suit up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you shoot up,
the older
and then
Batman one, right?
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah.
When you put that on and you first see yourself as well.
Kerbar asked, "What is the best physics for interactivity?" I'm going to go Half-Life Alyx and Boneworks. Mighty Quinn as well. Congratulations on the HOTAS, dude. I did see your comment. Sorry, and Saints and Sinners. I think all three of them games do it better, as far as I know, than anything else. So
again, it's a very subjective question. Is what do you want from the physics?
Mm-hmm.
Is it, do you want it to feel realistic, or do you want it to feel natural? Because sometimes natural is not realistic in VR.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a very strange thing to say, but it's like this may feel like a natural movement, but in the real world, that won't work. So
that's why we come across to this cross thing between what you've got going on in Half-Life Alyx, some of Bonework, some of Saints and Sinners, and possibly some of Until You Fall.
I was going to say Until You Fall is a bloody good one because it very smartly added weight to weapons, and that then become part of the game dynamic because you then need to take a small blade for all the blocking and a big blade to deal the damage, which is really cool. Right. And I've seen people stream it, and I'm sure Buck has. They've got two great axes or a sword, and they're like, I can't stop this because their physical arm might be there, but their virtual arm hasn't quite got there yet, and they're going to get smacked. So, yeah.
It's funny you say that. I mean, when it comes to like actually changing the weight, I mean, realistically, when you're talking about mechanics, we're talking about kind of small, subtly different things. Boneworks and Half-Life are very similar in that they use very similar mechanics to each other and how they interact with everything and how it feels. But really, when you're talking about like the sword going slower or any of that kind of stuff, it's like when you're using a smooth camera, you know, when you have smooth camera output, you've got the stabilizer. Really what they're doing is they're adding it's not a smooth camera, but they're adding a smooth script. Yeah, it's a smooth script to those objects. Even in like Creed did that to your hands. Remember when you were actually moving your hands, all of a sudden your hands start slowing down, you see the ghost hands. Yeah. And that mechanic right there, I think that is, like you guys both talked about, you've got the realistic and you've got the what feels right, you know, and they're kind of two different things. Yeah. And that's all that it is. It's the mathematics of do I change the slowdown from, literally in the program, do I put 20 or 30 or 40, or, do I increase the sensitivity and add 4,000 or 5,000? Like, how sensitive do I make the give and the take of the pull of that? And I think that really honing that in, there is no perfect. I don't think that there is a perfect. I don't think there should be a perfect, and I don't want there to be one. Like we all said, every game deserves its own. A realistic game, you're going to want it to be more realistic. But to make really cool stuff happen, you got to play with those values and see what happens.
Sometimes. Oh yeah, it's a strange thing as well, though. At the same time, you've got that part of the speed, and then what The Walking Dead does is where you have the physicality of something where you've already made the contact, and even then pushing forwards to make force extra when you haven't managed to put whatever knife through a skull. First of all, it's a strange how it works out.
Saints and Sinners for me is actually not the best out of the three I mentioned, because, and this is another thing as well, going back to the gym bit, I guess, using a sledgehammer in Saints and Sinners, not using a sledgehammer in real life isn't that hard. Like using a 15-pound sledgehammer, which I used every day for weeks. When I pick one up in Saints and Sinners, suddenly it's like, Christ, I can't actually smack anyone in the head with this. When that isn't true, I could do very easily. And it's like,
your character's not as strong as you, buddy. I'm sorry.
But I find it straight. But that breaks immersion.
You do have to realise that Gamertag probably picks up sledgehammers with his little finger. You know, that's the sort of thing.
I'm just saying, like when you said, what triggered that was when you said about you have to find out how to get it right for your game. Yeah, I think Until You Fall actually does get it right. Probably one of the best. Half-Life Alyx and Boneworks. I've never had that bit where I've gone, this doesn't feel right at all. Saints and Sinners, I actually avoid using double-handed weapons all the time.
Half-Life, if you try to pick up a big light, you pick up like a big light in the room and you're like, I can't one-hand this.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Sorry, I meant Walking Dead. Yeah, Walking Dead. I don't use two-handed weapons because I don't like them. I'll literally pick it up and go. It'd just fill all over the place, and I'm like, it's a baseball bat with nails in it.
The other thing in Saints and Sinners is your character, as far as I can tell, is an 84-year-old asthmatic, because the stamina bar The stamina bar is so small and uses so quickly when you use stuff in that game. So, but that may be part of the story, because if you're in the middle of a zombie apocalypse, you're probably not eating right, you're probably not drinking well, you're probably not as healthy as you should be. So maybe it's part of the story.
It might be. Moving on, I do apologise. The video playing currently in the middle is by Garage Collective, the studio behind Theta Legion, which I believe is now officially coming to the Quest later on. It's like a 16-bit blocky. What's the word?
Dungeon crawler rogue-esque.
Yeah, but what's the graphics like? What would you say the graphics are like?
It's it's like what do you call it? The
Minecraft. It's kind of Minecrafty looking, isn't it?
Minecrafty.
Voxels.
Yeah. I was looking for Minecraft. And this is a new game. It is called Harlath. It's a mystical open world RPG called Stones of Harlath. Harlath. I'm going with Harlath. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. And I'll tell you, I think it looks pretty cool, because it looks like, as you said, you've got the Minecraft graphics, and you've also got that thing from, which makes Wizards really cool, is that he's actually doing the spells at the same time. And I like that in VR. I think it's pretty cool. It's better than just going, yeah, I'll press that button and fire comes out. I think it's better to actually do something for that magic to work. So
it's good when it works.
Okay.
There's a game called Spellpunk.
Do you know what, that was on like the Steam trending list, and I was like, what is this game? It was, yeah, and I was like, oh, maybe I should look at this game, and then I thought, no, I thought against it.
So I got given a surprise by Zimtok5 to come and play this new fun game with me, which he'd never tried either, and that was and it was Spellpunk, and literally after like 15 minutes, it was like, I'm out. This sort of thing. It's like, no, I'm done. It was not great. Right. It was not great. It is in early access. They are still trying to build on stuff. We gave him some feedback. See what happens.
That's what. Do you know what? That is the best thing you can do. Is in it when you get a key or get something that's early access, don't just slam it. You literally go, that's why you're in early access. You're very fortunate to be looking at it now. Take what's good about it, bring it in, have a look at it. You know what I mean? Give some ideas back. I think that's one of the best bits about being
I did a lot of that with Eye of the Temple, and come back with a lot of stuff to say what, you know, if in my dream world, these are the things I would like to see in it. So yeah, giving feedback on development is really a sort of very double-edged sword, because you need to be able to tell people this is not good and this is why, but in a way that isn't, you know, because this is like someone's baby, especially if it's an indie developer. They're like, this is their baby that they've been working on for years, and then you've gone, this is a big pile of crap. That's not really the way to do it.
I kind of did that a little bit with the Persistence when it comes to PC VR, because obviously it was on PlayStation. I think it was just DualShock. And I was like, when I heard it's coming to PC VR, I was like, dude, this is going to be brilliant, because you're going to have touch controllers. Your arms aren't going to be stuck to your head like two ant claws. You're going to be able to actually physically move your arms. Not at all, man. I put it on in PC VR, and I was like, what have you guys...
Xbox controller.
Yeah, what have you guys done for 2 years? Like, it's been 2 years since the release of this game, and there was no graphical options. It was identical to the PlayStation. I actually was thinking, have I got a PSVR on? Like, it looked the same. It was actually quite clever. It was like a PSVR emulator. Honestly, I was like, this is crazy. And I messaged him and I was like, sorry, man, I'm really gutted. I was personally, as a fan of the game, and I love the game, I feel no need to play it on PC, because it was exactly the same. And I didn't, you know what I mean? Like, there's no need for me to put it on the channel, because I'm like, there's nothing new to gain out of this. It's an amazing PSVR experience, and that's where it's going to stay for me. It's going to stay there as that. So,
but I suppose you can say at the same point, if someone does not have a PSVR and they do have a PC, at least now they have the opportunity to try it, and it'll be exactly the same as what they had on the PC on the PSVR.
It is true, but I couldn't put it on my channel. I was too broken. I was like, no, what have you done for 2 years? Oh, we lost.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
There he is. He's back.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I'm here.
It was unfortunate, man.
Yeah.
It was. I didn't say it angrily. I said it like a disappointed thing. You know,
That's even worse. That's like when your mum says, "Oh, I'm disappointed in you."
Who the hell is this guy? Who the hell is this guy? Like, he's a nothing. He's a no one. Don't worry. Delete. That's the end of that. So.
I think it's good to have the feedback. I mean, developers always want to have positive feedback. I think the most important thing you guys said though is constructive feedback. When you even if you're going to take the time to review an app in the store, at the very least, try to give it some constructive feedback. Now that I'm even answering the reviews to people, the one thing it's always like, some people are like, I hate it. It sucks. I don't like it. Stay away. It's like, could you let us know what you think would be better? Because like a lot of other people liked it, and if you don't like it, that's fine. But there was a reason that you bought it, because you watched the stuff, you looked at the pictures, you read the thing, you bought it. So what made you think you were going to like it that now you don't like? Because I want to know. I actually legitimately want to know.
Yeah.
You know,
putting a thumbs down and a poop emoji doesn't help.
Well, so I always say, here's the email, here's the Discord. Please contact us. We want to know your information. And then at that point, it's really up to you as somebody. If you actually care, then you're going to do that, you know, and the developers are already caring. So it's as a community member, somebody who actually wants good stuff too, you know, I don't think anybody that's involved in this even podcast or anybody that's watching would do that. But yeah, we have enough people out there that are just, you know, it's weird. They take enough time to do the reviews, but they don't take enough time to actually care. To be constructive in any type of a way, which is just poison for the world. We all know that, you know. So whether it be our favorite food place or, you know, a gaming studio, it's just not good. So, and the reviews matter. They're very important. Very important.
I'd say the state of the world we have at the minute, we need a bit more positivity in everything, and constructive feedback is positive.
We do.
Even if it's negative,
Sharon,
I don't care.
Sharon, this is for you. You asked if there's any horror games on PS4. The Persistence is an amazing game, by the way, if you're thinking about getting it. I love it on PS4. But yeah, this is called Do Not Open, coming next year. I thought I'd play it in the background. Two last bits of news. Facebook is stopped selling the Oculus Go. The entry-level standalone headset has gone into retirement after 2 years on the shelves, which makes me wonder how long it's going to take to get a new Quest. One of Facebook's technical guides in VR, John Carmack, said it was not the VR headset that most of Oculus wanted to build, and it faced internal headwinds the entire time. So I never actually, I think I used the Go once to look at a video or something, and that was it. That was like literally, so 3DoF virtual reality for me hasn't really existed. I've not tried it. So, but I can see why they're moving on from it.
Yeah, I personally used to use it all the time when I traveled for watching movies. That was purely the only thing I used it for
movie watching.
But yeah, I watched it. I watched a bunch of movies in it. I watched most of the Marvel movies in that headset. So
one of the things is so good. The Go had lenses were really good. The audio solution on it was really good for what it was. But there's one thing you can do with the Go that we've been testing out for a while now that is not expected. So you can use the Go with virtual desktop to do like driving games or flight simulators.
Yeah.
Because technically you don't need 6 DoF playing those, you only need 3. So if you want a really cheap way of getting a VR headset to do racing sims, that's your way to do it.
Yeah. There you go. And I watched Zim do that. I think he done a racing video.
It was actually, it was me and him. We were chatting one night in Discord about, could we do this sort of thing? And then he got it all up and running at his place. And then I tested it because I own a Go. I tested it with mine and it's really good. And one of the guys who joins us on our racing nights that we do, I've lent him my Go because he doesn't have a headset.
Nice. Nice. If anyone's wondering why this cursor keeps moving around, on everyone's face, it's because I can't get rid of it. I can't actually use Zoom and get rid of the cursor. So thank you all for tolerating
JD Max also brought up the other thing, that the lenses in the Rift S as well, and he's quite right, are the same as the lenses that are in the Go.
Nice. Excellent stuff. And last bit of news, Oculus Quest early distribution channel, which means no more side loading. And basically to get something on the store, you don't need to pass the Oculus curation process as well. It's coming in 2021. Now, literally when I first read this, I thought to myself, man, this is like a stab for SideQuest. But now I'm sort of reading that SideQuest are going, no, we love this. I don't know why, but because at the end of the day,
they work together. I thought, didn't they work together? I thought they were working with Oculus with that. As
far
as I know, I thought that was cooperation. I could be wrong. I thought that was cooperation.
No, I heard the same thing you did.
Tell me, dude. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, to me, SideQuest is fantastic. I absolutely love it. Use it loads. But the barrier of SideQuest is the fact you can't do it on the Quest. you need a PC, you need a laptop. That's the problem.
Purposefully done though. That's to avoid copy or to avoid.
That's to avoid lawyers knocking on their door. That's all.
So where does this go now? Basically, Oculus have now gone, right, we're going to have a channel for all the indie developers to go.
Well, so SideQuest, it seems like if you didn't see that, it seems like some of their focus is moving on to the testing of Oculus Quest type apps. They've opened up that now SideQuest testing feature where people can sign up and use their Quest to help test. It's something that a few companies are big on. There's a company called VR Oxygen that's also working on that too, out of California. It used to be Fishbowl back in the day with Jeff and a lot of people that used to be involved in that. We had several hundred testers back in the day with that, and that kind of disappeared, unfortunately, because the business model didn't quite. Everything's growing, right? But we're at the point now to where it's kind of getting back there. So I think SideQuest is going to focus more on that and maybe work with Oculus on getting apps in there. But I mean, as we all know, at the end of the day, the company that owns the headset and has the rights to the headset the software, they're going to be the ones that are going to be able to do it best, without a doubt. So they have to have some control in that. And I'm glad to see that they're helping allow apps in there. It's unfortunate though, because their curation process is so difficult. Are those devs that are putting their apps in on the side still going to make money that the apps, as official apps? And no, the answer is no, obviously. So that's difficult to see how it's going to work.
I mean, SideQuest. Sorry, SideQuest was originally designed just for a development side, because you have to sign up as a developer to use SideQuest, don't you? So that's that's one of the reasons that they've put it in Oculus now, or they've Oculus doing this so that they can take that side away from it and then solely use it for the testing, like it was originally designed for, because you sign in as a developer.
I think I was on a Nat Sindri's game.
Sorry, I thought the newer one is not that you wouldn't have to sign up as a developer to use it. It's to allow normal users to not have to sign up to be a developer, but still be able to test out games that have not yet made it to the store.
I don't know. I didn't get it.
I mean, it's also, I think that is it. I think that's kind of right, but I think that when you say not yet made it to the store, that almost makes it seem like all the apps that are there have a potential to make it to the store.
May have the potential,
right?
Yeah, they may have the potential.
But here's my thing with that: when you put an app up and you put it in the store, not as an official app, it means it already didn't get selected through their selection process, or through your pitch, because you have to put a pitch forward. And what I'm fearing is that devs will then get put into that secondary store and never get pushed back to the main store. I mean, sure, maybe if they hit a certain amount of sales, they somehow get pushed back over. I mean, how are they going to then?
They've got on the platform, haven't they? They've got on the platform, and Oculus gone, there you go, there's your game.
Yeah, here you go. There's your area. That's where you get to sit.
And it's got nothing to do with us. If it's
there's the tradesman's entrance, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm not a huge fan of this as far as just hearing it, but I haven't seen it. We don't know exactly what it's going to be like. So I am interested in that to see how
it's the Oculus basement.
That's how I've kind of read. I've read it as the
Oculus basement.
We don't see you as straight up as the store.
I love that.
And we know you're going to use SideQuest anyway. So we're making it easier for you that way.
I mean, the other thing is I think, as I was going to say, Nat from Degrees Gaming on his show last night, he was saying about if it goes that way, like think of To the Top, which was the same as Pixel Rift 1989, didn't come to the Quest stupidly. So like, To the Top's multiplayer. I've got the day, as I said this story before, if anyone doesn't know it, I've got To the Top. I was speaking to the developers. I've got the actual Quest version of To the Top, not the side Quest version, with multiplayer. And we was going to make a video to announce it coming to Quest, which was a big thing for my channel, to be fair. That was like massive. Do you know what I mean? And I think 18 hours before we was going to do the video, he messaged me and said Oculus said no. He believed it was a yes. There is a Quest version. I believe that's the same as Pixel Rift 1989. There is a Quest version sitting there, ready. From what Anna told me, I think.
Been there, been there, ready for a while. Yeah. It's something we did like a year ago, I feel like. But I can say we will have some news on that soon. We have a very special opportunity because of some things, but it's still weird and it's still different. But I can say we have a very special opportunity that's only going to happen probably through in this way with us. So you guys can talk about that later.
That is why I need the exclusive noise. Someone said I need the Empire siren.
Yeah, I can't spoil too much, So, but we do have news coming on that soon.
Yeah, man, that'd be awesome. The other thing I was trying to get to was if the game is on Oculus, right, in Oculus Basement, as we're going to call it, right, will multiplayer work? Because you can't get the multiplayer on SideQuest. Yeah, it doesn't work. So if everyone obviously is downloading that game from the Oculus Store, could they then implement the multiplayer through that way?
Sorry, you can't. But I thought there were games on SideQuest that did have multiplayer.
Yeah, but to the top, as far as I know, didn't have it or something. I don't know.
So the problem that I'm seeing here is that Oculus has its own version of, it's got your own SDK where you can implement the network, the leaderboards and all that, with the avatars going into friends list, all that stuff. It's all in one thing, right? And then you've got a separate package where you can create your own servers through Unity and create your own online.
Oh, right. Maybe they never done that.
The problem is you can't do both, really. You've got to kind of commit to one. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. Maybe you could, but I for my developments, there's no way we would try to do both those systems. They're way too. They're connected too differently.
This is why I've always been fascinated by crossplay, because how do they do that a lot of the time?
Well,
a lot of the time,
I don't want to answer that because my job is making the systems
I have an idea.
talk to each other.
Well, the way you do it with an
system
EA
has
game,
all of them.
Exactly. Or the way you do it with EA, Salsa, is you use Origin, so pay up. So,
he hates Origin.
Can't stand it. Genuinely angry. Irrational hatred of EA.
That's cool. Irrational. I'm glad he said that.
Although I'll be honest with you, I bought Star Wars Squadrons yesterday on the Steam sale because they give you £5 off anything over 30 quid. So I got it for $29.99.
I might cancel my pre-order and pre-order it again.
Yeah, I need to cancel my order and then re-pre-order it.
Yeah, I'm going to do that, literally. Sal, so you've got like a beauty mole. I've never noticed that before till today.
No, I had a... Thank you very much for highlighting that.
No, in the films though, they have them in boxes, don't they? And they put them on.
Yeah, it's a spot that's happened.
I thought maybe
you got what I do is I grow the mustache. I grow the mustache over mine, so you can't see it. You can't.
Oh, we can still see.
Yeah,
none of this is real.
Enough.
Yeah, the hair is the only real part. Just that hair part. That's
yeah.
Nice, dude. Yeah, so
thanks for that one.
I am going to add name tabs because we always have new people on the show all the time, trying to keep it rolling and stuff. Today is Buck313, YouTuber. 3131, and he also does mixed reality stuff. And he's also part of a podcast called The VR Souls. Which is it Wednesdays?
Every Tuesday at 8:00 British Standard Time, there is myself as the host. We have Dr. Oculus, we have Paul from the VR Realm, and we have Bold7708. And we do basically this. We talk about VR stuff that we found. We talk about hardware. We talk about software. We keep it very light and simple, and we swear a lot as well. So if you're into that, you're more than fine. Hello! Sorry.
Mini Caleb.
But yeah, so I'm predominantly on YouTube, which is, just search Buck3131 on YouTube and you'll find me there if you want to. But thank you.
Nice. Yeah, we're going to sign out now anyway because the show has nearly gone on for 3 hours. So we got through a lot of it though, which was really cool. So yeah, also we got South Catch Up VR. Hopefully.
Hello, people.
You know the guy. He's saying hello when he should be saying
people.
goodbye. And then we got Reality Check, Caleb.
Who's just walked off.
Yeah,
he's already done.
He's looking after kid there, so you know.
Any dads in the chat know it's like.
Yeah, that's priorities. That's
well, we're waiting for Caleb. I do actually just want to say thank you for inviting me on. It was very kind of you.
Oh, mate, thank you for coming on. It's been awesome, and thank you to everyone in the chat as well. All the donations, all of you just being here, it makes the show so worth it. My wife did not say anything. I've been having internal struggles with this show a little bit, whether to keep going and stuff with it. But every time I do it, because it does take a long time to prepare, I love it, and that's because everyone turns up and everyone does stuff. So, I'm really appreciative. Yeah, Reality Check. We're going to say goodbye, man.
Okay, well, hold on, boy. You guys can't leave yet. You guys can't. I want you guys to stay here for at least 1 minute with me. 1 minute.
Okay, yeah, we're here, man.
1 minute. No, so yeah, I'm watching my son right now, which is kind of difficult, but I've got shows. He's got a show again, so we're good. We're back on that. I feel bad making him watch cartoons all day, but
oh, I'd love that.
Hey, I love cartoons, dude. I love cartoons.
Right? Yeah, he's happy. He's happy. He's a good little kid. But no, one thing I wanted to say before I jump off and do all the selfless promotion is that the Museum of Other Realities. Anybody who's in here right now, we got 70 people watching. Very cool, awesome viewership. Each one of you guys who has a VR headset, if you've got Steam available to you with your headset, you go to, not the Oculus version. Unfortunately, it does not work on the Oculus version. But if you download right now the Museum of Other Realities, it's normally $20, but it's free. It was only going to be available for 3 days, but they've opened it now up to be available up until I think the end of this month, up until next month a little bit. So we've got like another week open, and there's 50 some experiences in there, from VR to
I've got
XR
it, man.
to VR, and it's incredible. So you walk around like a normal museum, you jump in, you got to teleport around. It's a little bit like going back in the old 2014, 15 VR days, but you can see the ghosts of other people that are also in the exhibits. You can choose to talk to them if you want. I saw a bunch of my friends from the studio. I saw Kent Bai and some other people just hanging out, mingling inside of there. Plus, you see a lot of the developers of the actual applications inside there as well, so you can talk to them about their apps. Anyways, totally worth doing. I spent several hours in there yesterday, maybe 2 days ago, jumping around. And
cool.
I think my buddy Loganato spent 34 hours jumping around. I mean, the best part is you actually get to see all the exhibits without waiting in line. You just get to walk up and touch it, and it takes you right into it. But I will say, the Line VR for my company, it's a beautiful experience. It takes about 12 minutes. You can go there and see it for free. It says it's Oculus Quest right now only for $5. But if you have a PC VR headset, you can go watch it for free. And it's actually the PC version, which we haven't released yet. So you can go see the PC version of it through the museum, right? And that's really cool. So, and the other things, like I saw, there was one called Gravity VR. Gravity VR is made by a guy named Fabito, and that was amazing. I loved it. I'm gonna go back and watch it again. So, anyways, I really want to push that out there. There's a lot of people that put stuff.
One question just to clarify on that. Is that free for the next 6 days? So it'll only last 6 days?
Yes.
Or
yes.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
That's all right.
Yes. It's only
I don't want someone
while the actual event's going on. It's technically the Cannes XR Festival with Marche de Films and the Tribeca Film Festival all together in one beautiful little place. It's interesting to see it. It's maybe not the easiest or the best or 100%, but it's worth doing. It really is worth doing, and it's large though, so it's a lot. It's like 40 gigabytes plus. If you want to download everything,
I've literally just done it while we were talking. It's 99 gig.
Yeah,
99 gig.
If you want everything,
99
all
gig.
the DLC, it's about 99 gig.
Well, if you want the free one, it's 99 gig, so it must be including everything. No, I just wanted to get that clarified, so if anyone is watching knows that you've got 6 days to try this.
Yeah, nice. and it's awesome. It really is awesome and worth doing because of the different experiences. I mean, I think our experience is pretty cool. And if you go see just if you go see 3 experiences, even 3 experiences, it's worth your time, let alone the fact that you can see 5, 10, 15, 20. There was even like a thing in there where I saw like President Nixon, who had been deep faked, and they had used audio cues to make him tell us that the astronauts, didn't survive. And there's all kinds of weird little things where they used, manipulation and digital arts to create, interesting pieces. So
all in VR.
Push that out there. Push that. Yeah, all in VR. And actually, so what's weird is some of the exhibits aren't actually like loaded. Like, for example, our experience, you go and you see a set piece, you load into the experience just like you would a game, and then you play it. Some of the experiences, you walk into a room and the set piece is there, and it just starts coming alive, and you just watch it as your character. And there's even another room where you walk in and the room starts like tilt brush art starts just building itself around you, and they've got it on a repeat loop. So like you don't always even load. Sometimes you just walk into places and see or hear.
Yeah, you sometimes look up and look and see an area, and you're suddenly brought into the middle of something.
Yeah.
So you got Cold Yogurt says it's to play but not to keep at the moment.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
and
right.
Chris Richardson said it states it's $20 currently.
It's free. It should be free.
Is it on? Does it depend on your region by any chance? Is there a region?
No, it should be free worldwide. Buck,
so when I looked at it on my Steam, which is in the UK, which it should be the same for everyone, it basically says Play Museum of Reality. Play is free, ends in 6 days, and then you can still buy the Museum of Other Realities.
Yeah, right. Normally it is $20, and not Oculus. This doesn't work on Oculus. I don't know why, but this is only on the Steam version. So they're only doing it through there.
But you could use Steam VR through an Oculus headset to run it.
Oh no, yeah, you can actually use an Oculus headset. Like I use the Oculus Quest via link into Steam, and that's how I've been visiting it the last couple of days myself.
Cool.
So I want to push that because that's nothing on me. Of course, my studio does have one piece there, but that's one of many, many amazing things that you can check out and see. And there's so many people that put a lot of effort into that stuff. I think it's worth.
It's a sweet little story, the line.
Yeah.
So
yeah, thank you. It's a little bit of Brazil put with a worldwide story, put out there for everybody. Gotta love those Brazilians.
I will definitely be checking this out.
Yeah, I'm going to do it after this show. Hopefully, download it.
But
yeah,
my things though. I will do this. Here's my spiel. Sorry, I know I'm taking over, guys, and talking too much. I have so many cool things I want you guys to buy. No. The Pixel physical release is going to be
We're not going to give you one VR game. We're not going to give you two VR games.
We're going to give you a universe of VR games.
We've got Yuki coming out soon too. No, I'm going to actually be doing some more videos recently. I don't really care too much about doing the produced videos because I'm trying to concentrate on working for kind of the bigger good and doing as much as I can for the VR projects that I'm working on. But personally, I am going to live stream as much as I can. I'm doing the Phantom Covert Ops and some other stuff. And I love playing with my friends and other people. So if any of you guys ever want to play, I'm down with that. Lastly, we're going to do a charity stream with Cradle of Sins, which is like a VR MOBA game that's on Steam. It's not quite out yet, but we're going to do a charity stream here at the beginning of July. And I get to perform in that, which will be nice. And I am excited about that. So if you guys get a chance, come check that out.
Nice, dude. What's the charity? Do you know what the charity you're going to be doing?
I don't yet know what the charity is. They haven't told me the charity link yet, and they haven't sent me the link for my extra keys yet either. So I'm hoping.
I'll send you my bank details, and you can use that for the charity. It's fine.
Yes. Buck 313.
Buck 313 donation. Nice, guys. Thank you ever so much for coming through. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Really appreciate it. As always, thank you for all the donations, all just being here, making the show really cool. So hopefully you can check out these guys. I will put their links in the video description. I will pin it to the top of the chat. And going on forward, I will start adding names to these windows because we keep having different people. So yeah, look after yourselves, guys. Hopefully you check out everyone. Have a great week. Look after yourselves and see you next time. Take care. Bye 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 bye.